beautiful downtown Dallas, just a short drive away from us here as the Arlington Seguin Cougars take on the Panthers of Colleyville Heritage at C.H. Wildman Field. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DFW Metroplex once again for another district contest between two foes that some of us may be readily familiar with. A bit of a mystery coming into this one. The Arlington Seguin Cougars, who have been on the Antler Sports Network all season long, coming into the record at 5-2, district record of 3-2. Going against the Colleyville Heritage Panthers team, who is coming onto the Antler Sports Network for the very first time. Overall record of 4-2, district record of 3-1. But a person that we are familiar with is my broadcast partner for tonight here at Wildman Field, Arlington legend, as multiple people call it, for better or worse, Zach Arnold. Zach, welcome back to the Antler Sports Network, my friend. Another fantastic game on tap.
Jared, thanks so much for having me back. I had a great time with the Timberview game. I'm really excited for this one because it has huge playoff implications for both teams. We mentioned during that Timberview game that this is the second half of the season when everybody's making a push for those 4 playoff spots to come out of each district. And the way things are lining up to potentially fall tonight, there could be somebody with a very good inside track to a playoff appearance by the time this scoreboard hits all zeros.
Now, it's going to be interesting, as you mentioned, Zach. Magic numbers in terms for both teams. Seguin, they win all 3, and they're in. It's simple as that. Win, and you're in. If they lose one game, then it will go to a tiebreaker. For Colleyville Heritage, they control their own destiny. They pretty much just have to win every game as well. But one thing to note is the two teams that are currently at the top, that being the 5-1, 4-0 Argyle Eagles, and the second place team at 4-2, and also 4-0 Jaguars of Mansfield Summit, two teams that will be playing tomorrow night. Sadly, we will not be delivering that game, but it'll be a big game nonetheless. The loser of that game, Zach, it's fair to say they're going to move to second. The winner of this game controls their destiny in third. But the ultimate question remains: who has more at stake tonight at Wildman Field, in your opinion?
I mean, I got to go with the home team because, like you said, they have to win all 3 and they're in. Otherwise, they have to rely on tiebreakers and mathematics in order to get that spot, which is unfortunate because they started so hot at 5-0.
Sure.
And then have had some trouble with some really good opponents. These are quality opponents that they're falling to, like the Argyle Eagles. But it's still a very unfortunate place to be in. And so you've got to retake control of your destiny tonight at home, in front of your crowd, or on ASN, but you've got to take care of business here tonight.
Colleyville and Seguin sitting in the 3rd and 4th spots respectively in 5A Division I, Region 1, District 3. Nipping at their heels, however, in the 5th spot, the 2-2 Burleson Elks, 3-3 overall, and not too far behind them, a team that Seguin is very familiar with. It's the 3-4, 2-3 Timberview Timberwolves. So no margin of error at all for either ball club. Here in the pregame, we'll hear from the women's basketball interim head coach of the University of North Texas Dallas Trailblazers. We'll hear from Coach Gordon. Zach and I will continue to preview this game and much more. It's the Cougars and the Panthers coming up after this from the ASN family of platforms. This is Seguin Cougars football.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Pregame continuing here at C.H. Wildman Field on the Antler Sports Network. Sooner Athletic Conference basketball action on the ASN starts in just a matter of weeks. And speaking of the SAC, the North Texas of Dallas Trailblazers had their virtual media day with conference SID Jen Powers. Here's interim head coach Sheila Davis and junior guard Maya Bills.
Welcome you back to our last segment here in our, no, actually it's not our last segment, our next to last segment here on our 2024 Sooner Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Media Day. I'm Jim Powers, Assistant Commissioner of the Sooner, and we're going to head back down to our great friends in Dallas at North Texas Dallas, the great Trailblazers, and their interim head coach joining us, Sheila Davis, and also one of her outstanding student athletes and basketball players, Maya Bills. And Maya, talked a little bit about how the transition's been with coach and what you guys have been able to do and able to accomplish here in the preseason.
So I believe that the transition is really good. She was the assistant coach last year, so she got to see everybody and what they do and how they act. So her to come in and be the head coach, she knows how everybody is for the people that came back. And it's just a clean slate for everybody to come back and prove what they can do as far as the people that have been here. And I think she's going to do a phenomenal job being the head coach. She's already doing so well preseason. It's really, really hard, but it's supposed to be harder than the game. So I feel like we just have the team so far to go far into hopefully championship and be prepared for everything.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're one of a veteran group for the Trailblazers. Talk a little bit about your leadership. Are you more of a vocal player, or are you I'm going to lead by example, or are you kind of a mixture between the two?
I'm a mixture between the two. I mostly talk a lot to my teammates. I kind of try to get them pumped up for practice. I'm very vocal for sure. But with that, I feel like you also have to lead by example. So I try my hardest to work every day and practice and prove that I am also a leader and show that I am a veteran compared to, our underclassmen.
And coach, for you, you're moving from the number 2 seat to the big chair on the interim basis. Talk a little bit about that transition and how you've been able to kind of maneuver through this over the last couple months and getting ready for a long basketball season.
Okay, I've been a head coach before, high school head coach, but college is totally different. So moving to that seat has not been a hard transition. It's just the more technical stuff with the meetings and things like this, what I'm adjusting to it and things of that nature. I'm just excited. I've been here. This is our 5th year, so I've been with the program since we began. I've been with Coach Bell since the beginning, so kind of learn from him. So kind of mesh and try to put my own spin onto our expectations and things of that nature. But other than that, it's been fun. It's been tough just trying to get the players to buy in, new attitude, new work ethics, and things of that nature.
Talk a little bit about the young lady sitting next to you, and she's a senior. She's done so many terrific things. Talk about how much she's meant to you in this transition and also to the program over the last couple of years.
Okay, the biggest thing is I think she's finally gotten enough confidence in her abilities. Excellent shooter, pretty good defensive player, just trying to get to play hard on defense. Leadership has been tremendous. So yeah, we're expecting her to be one of our leading scorers as well, leading on and off of the court.
Talk a little bit about some of the other names that we are going to hear throughout the season, whether it's on a stat sheet or whether it's going to be watching games. Who are some of those other key components to your club this year?
Okay, we have 2 transfers, Sky Duggins and Erica Patton, and these are the 3 seniors, and they should bring a tremendous leadership. Even though those 2 young ladies are new to the program, but they just bring some of that winning attitude that they experienced at their previous college. And then we got 8 returning players And we just expect for them to just step up and improve their role. Whether it's Sanaa Murphy Showers, whether it's Dee Dee Johnson, whether it's Alyssa Pentley, Alana Moore. So those young ladies, we're expecting a lot out of them. And then we got 3 freshmen coming in, and with game experience, we expect a lot from those 3 as well to contribute.
And Maya, talk a little bit about now what coach is bringing. So obviously, what you just mentioned, a little bit more accountability, so to say, and different things along those lines. How is the system built for you to be able to succeed and your teammates as well for what coach is putting in for you guys?
I believe something that I feel like this team has really needed in the past is the discipline, and she has brought that for sure. We definitely are more disciplined than we have been since I've been here, and I've been here for 3 years, so I've seen it all really. And the program's only really been up for 5, so I've been here for towards the beginning, and I feel like we've definitely needed some discipline and intensity. It's a lot of intensity. Practice, we go after each other, so she definitely brings that energy and just tremendous family and everything of that nature.
And coach, talk about your schedule. Obviously, non-conference schedule is really good. It's going to get you guys ready for Sooner. And we'll talk about the Sooner here in a second. But, some great exhibition games, Texas A&M Commerce, UT Arlington, and then you jump in against Friends in Oklahoma Wesleyan over at Tex West. This non-conference schedule is going to really get you guys ready to go for the SAC schedule.
Yeah, we always, just following Coach Belcher's blueprint, we always want to play the tougher competition to just get us better and prepared. And like I said, main thing, we're just trying to make them more accountable. The system hadn't changed too much. I mean, Coach Otis and myself have added a new spin to what we want to implement. We made a few tweaks here and there, but playing UT Arlington and Texas State, and that's going to help us tremendously. You just want to see the difference in the different level of play and how hard we need to play for 40 minutes.
And then the Sooner, and I've said this to all of our coaches throughout these interviews, the Sooner this year, I think, is the deepest that our conference has been in an awfully long time. Anybody can knock anybody off on a given night, especially on the women's side. And I mean, your opener, you don't get an easy opener. You get MACU and then you get OCU right out of the gate in conference play. But you've been around the Sooner. What are your thoughts about this year and just how incredibly good our conference is, especially, and I say this, I arguably think our women's basketball is some of the best in the nation.
Yeah, I think we are pretty good from top to bottom. But like I said, the main thing, what Coach Otis and myself are trying to get our Trailblazers to buy into, our women's program buy into, is we need to compete every night. And we plan on competing every night. It's kind of like in my preseason. I just want to make sure that we're prepared and be competitive and let the chips fall where they may at the end of the fourth quarter. And hopefully we're on top.
And Maya, I'll ask you this. You've had a chance to see the talent here in the Sooner, and I say we've got some of the best players in the country in the Sooners. So how is that for you to be so excited to play some of the top talent, not only in the Sooner, but in the country, night in and night out?
It's exciting for me. I love competition. I feed off competition. So being able to compete against part of the best players in the nation, probably, it's electrifying, really. I'm just excited to get after them. I feel like once you compete against, the best players, it makes you even better. So just excited.
And you guys are going to finally have a facility that you guys are going to be able to play in. That's going to be I know you guys, we call you the Trailblazers, but you guys have been barnstorming a little bit over the last couple of years.
Exactly.
But how excited are you to be? The community has been super supportive of you guys, and both the men's and the women's program. How much fun is it going to be to play in your own place that you can call your own this year?
Well, just playing in the last gym, my knees won't hurt anymore. So that's awesome for us to have our own gym. And I believe we'll have even more fans because it's going to be electrifying to be in a bigger stadium. So I'm excited.
And coach, for you, it's got to be a lot of fun to be able to walk into that's your own, that you guys are going to play every home game in this year and call it your own. For you, that's just got to be awesome.
Exactly, because it's more of an arena type atmosphere where we've been playing all our games. So it's great to be in that same atmosphere. So when we're on the road, we can kind of get used to that atmosphere. But yeah, it's nothing like playing at home, and kind of like Maya said, finally got some good quality floors. Not that the place we didn't have was okay, but now like I said, you got the cushion and things of that nature, and separate locker room. So we're just excited. We're just excited for the season.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to follow you guys throughout the year. I know this is a busy time during preseason, but I appreciate you all taking some time, and you guys are going to be a lot of fun to follow throughout the year.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. As we talk to some great folks from North Texas, Dallas on their women's basketball side, interim head coach Sheila Davis, Maya Bills, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch, and this young lady is a good one, so keep your eye on her throughout the year. When we come back, we'll continue to talk to all of our outstanding coaches and student athletes here on the 2024 Sooner Athletic Conference Women's Basketball Media Day.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
CH Wildman Field is where we are tonight for this contest between Colleyville Heritage and the Cougars of Seguin. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold, happy to be with you once again for another presentation of Cougars football on ASN1. Captains in the middle of the field, Colleyville Heritage, and kind of a stormtrooper look, I guess you could say. White tops, black bottoms, black numerals, and varsity block lettering. Captains for the Colleyville Heritage Panthers is Bobby Weaver, the junior quarterback, Luke Graves, the senior wide receiver, Dax Hepison, the junior linebacker, as well as Bryson Burgess, the senior defensive back. The captains for the visiting Panthers. First, Seguin, that's Lacorian Hodge, as well as Malachi Medj, the junior and senior, respectively. Jacoby Perkins, recently back from injury, the linebacking senior. And finally, the man that has gained Sports Illustrated recognition, Zach, a guy that we know can make some big plays, Carterius Brown, the big 6'5" SMU commit. Captains lining up for both teams for the coin toss. Doing the flipping of the coin, and the referee is going to be Joe Horn. And the rest of his officiating crew for tonight, out of the Fort Worth Football Officials Association, is umpire Brian Buford, line judge Clint McKeever, headline judge is Jeff Engelman. As we finish off our officiating crew, it's field judge Chance Platch, side judge Gernard Griggs, and back judge Bill Stimmel. Seguin will receive the opening kick. And this is going to be a very interesting game, but of course, we appreciate the little things, Zach, when it comes to Texas high school football. The little wins and the little losses. The first main competition I see is the inflatable mascot contest. And to our left, as we pan over, I think Colleyville's got the win there. What do you say?
Yeah, that's a very sharp-looking Panther head, and I've seen different websites here in the DFW area that hold voting contests. It's like a popularity contest to see who can make the biggest, most elaborate-looking one. And I dare say that the best-looking one in the city of Arlington, in Arlington ISD, belongs to the Arlington Colts. It's a very large Colt tunnel that is green, black, and white. They've got a very sharp-looking one, so it's time to get an upgraded one for the Cougars.
I love a nice inflatable. I mean, we've seen beautiful ones across the state.
You know, I think it's reminiscent of our childhoods, playing in bounce houses, and now you get to see 17, 18-year-olds run through a more grown-up version of that. It's a way of sparking the childhood while also helping you grow up.
That's the best way to put it, honestly. I mean,
it's that transition to adulthood. Everybody's got these coming-of-age stories, and it's no different when it comes to inflatable gear for young men.
I mean, there's taxes, there's getting your first apartment, car payments, bills.
You've got
marriage,
all kinds of time for that, man.
All that, man. What about just the inflatables for Texas high school football? But inflatable talk aside, a talk that I did have pregame as both teams trot onto the field was with Seguin head coach Joe Gordon pregame.
Coach, Pinkout game here at Wildman Field, a game of utmost importance, about as important as any game can be. You control your own destiny heading into the postseason. How has the week of practice been? What's the preparation been like physically and mentally for this Seguin Cougars team?
I felt like this week has been one that the guys came in focused, paying attention to detail. Really a week in which I think we all understood that we needed to simply improve, get better, in all three phases of the game, and just kind of focus on the fundamentals and the basis of this football game. If we can do that, then I feel like we'll be in a better situation at the end of the night.
Now, Coach, everybody likes to pay attention to the schedules and the rankings of other teams. Have you gotten much focus into that? I feel like I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you personally.
Well, no, in all actuality, that's for the media and for the writers. What we focus on is how we're going to play and what the matchup looks like, what they present schematically, and those are things we focus on and make sure that we're in position to do things we need to do for our football team.
Coach, talk to Coach Benke a little bit pregame. He said you guys are healthy, you're ready to go. We talked about it in the preseason, about the first couple of weeks before the year started. If you can get to October healthy, you got a swinging chance. You feel healthy? How do you feel?
I feel really good. I think that, we've had some casualties and some injuries, but, at the same time, I feel like we're in as good a position you can be in, when you roll into week 7 and 8, get deep in the season, you want to make sure that you've got your go-to guys. And I think that, we're not 100%, but we still got our key go-to guys. And I think that's going to make a big difference for us. And then just getting everybody back from the 2 previous weeks that we're missing, getting our continuity and our chemistry back. So I feel good about where we are and some of the lessons we learned the last 2 weeks.
Now, finally, let's talk Colleyville. What have you seen from on film? What are you expecting from the Panthers on both sides of the ball?
Well, first and foremost, this is a very talented football team, well coached team that's routinely, going deep into the playoffs. Is, last year I want to say regional champs. So you're going to get a team that's, well poised, well coached, and schematically sound. So in order for us to go out tonight and play the type of game we have to play, we have to match their level of energy, their emotion, their enthusiasm, and most importantly, we got to make sure that we do a really, really good job of containing, their quarterback and limiting the explosive plays and minimizing turnovers. If we can do that, I think we have a really good chance of being successful.
National anthem concluding here at Wildman Field. We are just moments away from kickoff in the city of Arlington. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold, once again happy to be with you as the Seguin Cougars take on the Panthers of Colleyville Heritage. Playoff spots are on the line tonight, Zach. District supremacy, the entire season, dare I say, comes down to this game for both teams. Even though they're fighting for pretty much the same spot, it's going to take two completely different paths to get to their respective spots. Last week, Seguin took a pretty tough loss on the road against the Eagles of Argyle. Last week for Colleyville Heritage, an even tougher loss, arguably, 42-35 against the Bulldogs of Everman, who currently sit in 8th out of 9th place in the district, Zach. Both teams playing for the same prize, but got to this point in two completely different ways.
Well, the ironic thing, Jared, is in spite of those losses, these are two very potent offenses, with Seguin averaging 36 points per game and the Heritage Panthers averaging 30. I'm kind of expecting to see some fireworks here tonight if we can, and it's going to be on the backs of Chevy Andrews and Bodie Weaver, and that'll be fun to see as we get a look at Andrews to start the game.
We'll introduce that Seguin offense before their first possession. Ready to boot things off for Colleyville. It's going to be the man that's down in the number 47, Ryan Zucker, the senior. Seguin will be returning from right to left on your respective device. Back deep to receive as well. Malachi Mesh, as well as Cohen Peeler. Course pink out game for Seguin, and we are set to go for action. This is a line drive. Kick plenty of leg into this one. Mesh is going to take a couple steps back, bounce out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Seguin will take over 1st and 10 with pretty solid field position coming out of the touchback, Zach. First possession. What are you looking forward to seeing more? How this Colleyville defense takes the speed of the Seguin offense, or how the Seguin offense tries to go up against this fundamental and sound Colleyville defense?
Fundamental just means tackling, Jared. It just means being able to get to your man. And as you mentioned during the pregame, there's a lot of playmakers on this Seguin offense. You take a look at players like Malachi Mesh and Carterius Brown. Those are two young men that you're going to have to try to find a way to contain. I don't know if Heritage is prepared to take care of both of them. So a balanced offensive attack is what I'm going to be looking for from the Cougars on this first series.
Dual motion, double tight ends now. Brown goes in motion. Andrews under center. 1st and 10 from the 25. Two receivers now sacked at the top of your screen. It's going to be a handoff. Bounce to the outside is Mesh. Along the numbers, knocking out the door of the 30, but it's going to get pushed back immediately. Multiple Colleyville Panthers on the hit. I'm going to give the initial one to Hayden West, the junior defensive back. And Zach, I expected Seguin to try to take a shot downfield. Instead, on 1st and 10 on their opening possession, they go to the ground game and gain 2.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed during our last broadcast together, Jared, was that there were penalties and negative yardage plays that would put Seguin behind the sticks, I'm okay with a play that puts you in front of the line of scrimmage, and that's what they got there.
Well, you heard line of scrimmage all game against Timberview, as now Brown breaking to the outside as Giamatti Smith back in the starting lineup, bounced out of bounds right past the line to game. They're going to give him around 13 either way. Move the sticks. Seguin with a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10.
I like the use of the motion. It gives you an opportunity to see what kind of defensive formation the Panthers are setting up. Are they playing man? Are they playing zone? Are they following the man in motion? It's a good strategy on this first series to see how they're trying to line up.
Brown at the bottom of your screen is going to be guarded by Hayden West for most of this game. Andrews drops back, has Brown on the out route, steps out of bounds after a gain of 8. It's going to be 2nd down. No, they're going to mark that incomplete. Wow.
Looked like he had a foot on the line, says the line judge. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Clint McKeever, the line judge there, making that call. That incompletion will make it 2nd down and 10 to go after the incompletion. Now the huddle breaks for the Seguin offense in their first drive. Got a 1st down just a couple of plays ago on the 13-yard rush by Giamatti Smith. Dual tight ends again. Double motion by Deshaun Marble as well as Damian Cheatham. Brown in motion, going from the bottom to the top of your screen. Now it's a slot receiver. Andrews rolls out, looking, has Brown wide open in midfield. Puts on the brakes at around the 49-yard line. It's going to be a gain of 12. Move the sticks yet again. 1st down and 10 Seguin.
Jared, if I'm not mistaken, it almost looked like they just flipped the play call. It was another 8 to 10-yard out route just on the other side of the field, and this time Brown gets a foot in bounds before taking a foot out of bounds, moves the chains.
We know how difficult it can be for any secondary to try to stifle off any of these receivers and the running backs as well for the Seguin offense. As now the drive continues, it's going to be a toss, strong toss to Giamatti Smith. Smith bounces across midfield into Panthers territory. Going to be a moderate gain of about 3, making it 2nd down and long. Smith on his 2nd carry of the contest. Seems to be what we saw from Mesh a lot in the Timberview game. Short yardage in the opening downs of a drive.
But again, it moves it into plus territory. You stay in front of the sticks, and now you've got a whole lot more opportunities on 2nd and medium. At this stage in the field, this is where I would make a deep shot.
We'll see. 2nd and 6. It's going to be a strong toss again to Smith. Smith, step back, has open space, breaks in across the 40. 1st down again. Gain of 9. We'll check that. A gain of 7 is going to make it 1st down and 10. Seguin again. Zach Arnold, this Seguin offense is moving like pretty much how we've seen it move all season long.
They're methodical, they're intentional, and right now on this first series, they're scripted plays, and so you're testing the defense, testing the waters to see what you can get away with, and then adapt as needed. But so far, they haven't needed to adapt very much.
Both Peeler and Brown, the 2 receivers out wide. Seguin in the I form. Andrews is under center on this 1st and 10 play. It's going to be a handoff, breaking across, has an open lane. Is going to be Damian Cheatham, the tight end, taking a snap at running back. Gain of 11. 1st down and 10 again for Seguin.
The last 3 plays have been handoffs or tosses, and they have gone behind this big offensive line in Harris, Kincaid, Robinson, Wright, and Edwards. Those young men are moving the line of scrimmage forward and helping move the chains as well.
We're crossing 9.5 minutes here in this first quarter. Seguin's offense is ripping and rolling, folks. 1st and 10. Ball's on the 28. Same formation. It's going to be a handoff to Cheatham again. Flag is thrown mid-play. He gets rolled down. Probably going to be no gain. A flag thrown on the line of scrimmage in the area of holding. The question is, who is the white hat John Horn going to say that holding is against? As we have both seeing a lot of formations. Yep, it's going to be a holding penalty called against Seguin. First penalty of the game will make this 1st down a tad bit tougher. As I mentioned, we're seeing a lot of both Cohen, Peeler, and Brown, both 6'4 plus, as the main receivers onto the field. So we can expect maybe Andrews take a shot downfield. Now 3 out wide. Fullback is Cheatham, or halfback is Cheatham. Andrew well under center. after the penalty. Drops back, looking to throw out Brown on the flat. It's caught, pushed out of bounds. He is going to indeed haul that one in. Gain of 4 is going to make it 2nd down and 16. Tackle made by Jaden Hall for Colleyville. And we're seeing a lot of the out route, a lot of wearing out the flat by Seguin early, Zach.
It's where the open part of the field is right now. The corners are playing pretty far off of the line for the most part, aside from whoever's guarding Brown. So you take whatever the open field is, and right now it's working. Got to get back to that original line of scrimmage, though. Can't have too many downs behind the sticks.
Correctamundo, sir. 8.5 left. Andrews looking. Has Brown again. Back on the hitch. He's going to get knocked out of bounds. Tough hit. Clock will continue to roll. And he does get back to the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 5 makes it 3rd down and 10. A big 3rd down as Colleyville's defense showing their own little stifling play as we approach the 8-minute mark. It's been 3 throws to Brown, 3 on the pretty much the exact same route, whether it be the out or the hitch, all getting out of bounds. Not the typical offensive play calling that we've seen from Joe Gordon and company.
Maybe unconventional, but also not ineffective when you've got a player as big and fast as Brown is. Get it to him and see what he can do with it.
Andrews in trouble. Rolling out, has space. Maybe 2 more defenders to beat. Steps out of bounds right before the 20. That's going to be a gain of 5, and it's going to be a pretty important 4th down now. After Andrews flushed out of the pocket, some of the Colleyville fans wanting holding. Zach, as you mentioned, that Seguin offensive line buying Andrews time, as we know they can do. Now is decision time. Of course, we know Coach Joe Gordon and company, they're not scared to go for it on 4th down no matter where they are on the field. But well, now
this would be in the ballpark of a 40-yard field goal attempt.
And it looks like they might be going for it. They got 10 seconds now to get a playoff here. It seemed like it was a play ban that was thrown. 5 seconds now. 7:38 on the game clock. 2 seconds. 1 second. They're not going to get the snap off, and it looks like they're going to be forced to call a timeout. And indeed they do. Misstep by Seguin forces them to take their first timeout of the half, and we'll take it with them. Back in 30 seconds. We're scoreless. 7:38 left to go. Seguin in an important 4th down. It's coming up on the Antler Sports Network.
I'm Tori Kennedy, and this is my sister,
Issa Gilmore.
And it pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
My favorite part about subbing is just the different types of experiences you get. Getting to work with different age groups really let me experience working with younger kids and older kids and kind of figure out where I wanted to work.
I felt like it was really good experience just to kind of be on my own in the classroom and being able to get that teaching experience that I would use later on in my career. It pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
Important 4th down coming up for Seguin. We are scoreless with 7:38 left. Jared Jones at Garner with you. Seguin having to take a timeout before the break. Try to get the field goal unit on the field to attempt this 40-yarder. But no, looks like no field goal this go around. They're going to go 4th down the old-fashioned way. Big 4th down coming up. Ball's on the 22. Man in motion now. In at quarterback is going to be G-Monty Smith. It's going to be a keeper, a draw. Colleyville sniffs it out. They ain't going to get to the line to gain, folks. And a big 4th down stop by Colleyville Heritage as the Panther defense sniffs it out early. Turnover on downs. Huge momentum swing here deep in their own territory.
I like the aggressiveness because with so many playoff implications on the line, 3 points just aren't going to do it. Unfortunately, it's now no points as we get our first look at the Panther offense.
Panther offense led onto the field by Bodie Weaver. Weaver donning the black and white number 2. It's 97 for 121 on the year, averaging 204 yards a game through the air. 12 touchdowns, 6 picks, and its opening drive. It's going to go deep. It's got a man just overthrown. Pass was intended for Colleyville's number 16. That's going to be Cash McMahon, the junior wide receiver, the intended target. A little bit too much muscle on that one, but Zach, that was almost dangerous, especially with double coverage for Seguin.
He put it in a place where neither defender could get to it. Unfortunately, he also put it in a place where his receiver couldn't catch up to it.
Either way, very gutsy play call. And a completion will make it 2nd and 10 from the 22 after the forced turnover on downs by the Colleyville defense. Colleyville going from left to right on your respective device if you're listening over on ASN radio. Weaver gets a quick audible from the sideline. Still looking. And the play clock expires, and it looks like Colleyville is going to have to take a timeout as well. Another delay of game avoided, another timeout taken, and we'll take another break. Back in 30 more seconds, 7:25 left. Still scoreless on the Antler Sports Network. We resume 2nd and 10 for Colleyville. It's going to be a handoff. Breaking to the outside is Gerard Wiley. Wiley isn't going to get very far. Gets a solid gain after first contact, though. Gain of around 6 or 7. It's going to bring up a very manageable 3rd down. 3rd down and 5 they're going to mark it. And yet another big 3rd down already, this time for Colleyville Heritage on their opening offensive drive.
Yeah, I was not expecting it to be 3rd and this short. Good yards after contact there.
4 out wide total for Colleyville Heritage. Lone back. It's Weaver. Fade ball. Sideline. It's caught. No! It's broken up. Just getting a hand on it is Jordan Chris. Chris, right place, right time. As that was almost danger. And now 4 and out time for Colleyville Heritage as we take a second look. That was another beautiful ball by Weaver. Just even better hands by the senior corner, Jordan Chris, to knock that thing out and force the incompletion.
He goes stride for stride with him and makes a play on the ball at the right time. If he moves his hands up into that breadbasket too soon, it's a pass interference, but he was able to time that perfectly to break up the pass and force the punt.
Seguin ready to return. Back deep is going to be Malachi Mesh, as well as G-Monty Smith. It is a high-arcing kick, not a lot of distance, though. Barely crosses midfield, but takes a great bounce, though, to around the 35. And that's where it will get down. Seguin will take back over 1st and 10. A huge rivalry week on the Antler Sports Network. It continues tomorrow. We head back to the Rose City for the Rose City Holy War. The Bishop Gorman Crusaders take on the Trojans of All Saints Episcopal. Kickoff from McCallum Stadium at 7 o'clock. Myself, Matthew Hermans, will be on the call. And then Saturday afternoon at 4 p.m. over on ASN2, it's the Highway 287 rivalry between the now 12th ranked Texas Wesleyan Rams and the Lions of not Sagu, but now Nelson University. Pregame with Jimmy the St. Christopher and I on the call at 3:30. 1st and 10 for Seguin. It's going to be a handoff to Cheatham. Cheatham. Check that. That's Trotter, I believe. Look and see if that's a 22 or a 25. It is a 25. That's going to be Kadarius Trotter, the sophomore, in its first run. It's going to be a solid run of about, let's mark it 8. It's going to be 2nd and 2 for Seguin. And Zach, pretty much the same story, different cover for Seguin. Big yardage on the ground in the 1st or 2nd down. Question is, at 3rd down, that's going to be the big deciding factor.
3rd and 4th down have been the trouble so far, but not the right-hand side of the offensive line.
Indeed it has. And Andrews drops back. Has Brown on the flat again. That's going to be exactly what the doctor ordered. Out of bounds he goes. Knocked out by West. It's going to be a gain of 5. 1st and 10 yet again. It's been that flat for Kadarius Brown. We haven't seen them take a downfield shot yet. What I guess you could say we've been accustomed to from the Seguin offense.
Yeah, and it's number 3, Jaden Hall, that's on the coverage on that far side of the field for the Panthers, and he's playing fairly soft and allowing for those curls and comebackers. We'll see if he tries to tighten that up a little bit when he's covering Brown some more.
5:19 left to go. Double backs for Andrews. Andrews drops back. Chop blocks. Weaves through the pocket. Steps up. Gets the line of scrimmage and around midfield. Getting chased down. Pushed out of bounds before he gets to around the 44-yard line. However, it is a fantastic game. Pushing him out of bounds, preventing some extra bleeding. It's going to be the captain, junior linebacker, Dax Hepson. So now, another big 2nd down, Zach. This time, I'd say a much easier 2nd down. 2nd down and maybe the length of an index card to go.
I was pretty impressed by the closing speed of Hebson there. I really thought Andrews was going to be able to turn the corner. Instead, just a little bit of a bump there to knock him off of his balance, forced him to go out of bounds.
The junior on the double black arm sleeves, tracking him down. 2nd and 1 coming up. Seguin in the eye. 2 receivers. Going to be a strong pitch to Smith. Smith bounces through. I don't think he even got to the original line of scrimmage. No, they're going to say he lost a yard. It's going to be 2nd and 2. Well, 3rd and 2.
Number 9, Madden Williams, one of the first men in coverage there for the Panthers. They read that strong toss that worked so well on the previous drive. So far, looks like it's Heritage's defense that is making the in-game adjustments and forcing another 3rd down.
They don't give him a complete loss of a yard, so maybe half a yard. So instead of 3rd and inch, it's going to be 3rd and a full yard now. Both teams stacking the box. Both Cheatham and Maribel in motion. Brown in motion yet again. Could expect something possibly going to the flat. Andrews rolls out. They got him. No, they get it to Cheatham, but it's bobbled incomplete. 4th down coming up for Seguin.
Oy.
Man, you hate to see that. Cheatham was wide open, heading towards the sideline. Even had Brown at the second level. The Colleyville secondary, Zach, and I know you saw this, bit immediately to Brown going to the sideline out of bounds. And Cheatham was wide open. Sadly, just couldn't hang on to it.
When you've got a playmaker like Brown, you have to be able to have complementary teammates going alongside him. And Cheatham was probably anticipating a hit or something and just did not complete the catch.
4th and 1 coming up here. Colleyville showing pressure. They're going to run it. They got the 1st down and more. That is going to be Kadarius Trotter, the sophomore. Gain of 3. Move the sticks. The drive continues for Seguin.
They run behind the left-hand side of the offensive line now. A lot of those strong tosses have been going to the right-hand side. Trying the left side this time. Jackson Harris and Vaden Kincaid leading the charge to move the sticks.
So the slow, as Zach Arnold called, methodical drive for the Seguin offense continues. It's pretty much been big play all year long in the early going. But they know the importance of this game. Chew up as much clock as you physically can while still moving the football. Andrews rolls out under pressure, swings. He's still loose. Another juke. Gets to the 40. Makes another juke. Gets to the sideline. Pushed out of bounds again at around the 30. Let's mark that down. Let's say the 36 or 37. Either way, Andrews putting on a bit of a show.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the replay here, Jared, they were going for the wheel route down the near sideline, and there was good coverage by the Heritage defense, and Andrews didn't have a check down that he could go to. They were going wheel route or nothing on that play, and that's just good coverage by the Colleyville secondary.
They limit that Andrews razzle-dazzle to only 2 yards. That might have been some of the hardest fought 2 yards I've ever seen.
That young man probably ran closer to 30, but he only went 2 upfield.
$30 moves to cent result, Zach. 3:32 left to go. Flag is thrown pre-snap. As this is, looks like it's going to be against Seguin right at the line of scrimmage as the line judge, Clint McKeever, heads over to Joe Horn, the white hat for tonight, to make the call. And yes, it will be false start penalty called against Seguin. This is eerily familiar to their last drive.
It's what stalled their previous drive, was going behind the line of scrimmage. You can't have too many plays behind that 10-yard marker, especially when you're in plus territory.
Now with 3.5 left to go in the first period, it's 2nd and a country mile. Cheatham in motion. Now back to the right as a tight end. Faking it, looking. Here's a deep bomb down the sideline. Incomplete. In coverage again, it's Jaden Hall making a big-time play. Andrews had a little bit too much on that one. Don't think he would have had the best chance to haul that one in. Brown, the intended target there, Zach.
Yeah, Bryson Burgess came over from the safety spot to assist as well. Still pretty decent placement there by Andrews. If Brown can't catch it, nobody can catch it. I like that type of touch. Unfortunately, it was just a couple of 2 yards too far and out of bounds.
Another big 3rd and long here. 3rd and 13 from the 42-yard line. After the incompletion, Andrews in the gun, has one back. Drops back, looking, throw. It's complete. Looking to get the 1st down, and more puts his head straight through right at the 30. Think he got that one. Heck of a play by Deshaun Maribel. Plays a pseudo tight end, but now using his hands, put his body on the line to move the sticks. 1st and 10, Seguin.
That looked like a drag route coming underneath. They had a couple of the traditional targets going up top, which drew the secondary back. And Maribel took care of the rest. He completes the catch, lowers the shoulder, and moves the chains.
Gain of 14. Exactly what the doctor prescribed for Seguin. 2:45 left to go. The Cougars threatening. Andrews in the gun. Fakes the handoff. Has got Brown. It's a screen. Has a flag thrown. He gets in the end zone. Another flag is thrown. This touchdown will not stand, fair to say. This one's coming back in a play that showed plenty of promise. First time we've seen Seguin have that bubble screen action. And yep, there it is.
Yep.
As we go back, thankfully we have the beauty of instant replay in slow motion. We can see exactly where the hold is. And yep, this one's coming on back, folks. Man. Holding penalty called against the Cougars. And the dreary yellow hanky comes out again.
Jared, I blame myself. Right before kickoff, I said this could be a high-scoring affair, and then we go almost the entire quarter without any points.
Zach, you've done it again. You've done it again. You have forced an Iowa-esque game.
It's all my fault.
We'll let it slide this go around. 2:27 and counting. It's going to be a handoff, and Smith takes a hit. The ball pokes out. Colleyville has the football. Going back at the 40, 45, 30. Ball comes out again. It bounces out of bounds.
Wow.
My goodness. Bryson Burgess popped the football out. On the run from Smith. The turnover will stand. Caught it, went the other way, cross fields, got popped out by Brown from behind, but it goes out of bounds. Holy cow, a huge momentum swinging play with 2:17 left. Colleyville has it 1st and 10 with prime real estate.
You go back to the well too many times, eventually there's going to be a snake down there at the bottom to bite you.
Not a big fan of snakes, Zach, I would assume. I know I'm not. Maybe you like him.
I think there's very few people that do, and those that do need a talking to.
Handoff now. For Colleyville, it's going to be to Wiley. Wiley gets a gain of around 2. It's going to be 2nd down and 8. Randall on the tackle. That was a return, fumble return by Colleyville's Burgess. Of 41 yards. 151 after the Wiley run. Low snap. Handoff yet again. Bounce to the outside and looking for his block is Wiley. Wiley gets crushed at around the 25-yard line. Multiple Seguin Cougars on the hit. As he tried to get him to turn around and see if we can credit that one too. I would say that'd be LaCorian Hodge, the senior, back in the starting lineup, making his name in a big way for the tackle. Gain of maybe 1.
And this forces a big 3rd down here after that big momentum swing. If you can force a 4th down here, that's a great response by the Seguin defense.
Minute 14 and counting here. Wiley the back to the left. Bodie, pump fakes, looking, jukes to the left, spins through and is crushed. But not before he can get some decent yardage. Are they going to give him the first? Yes, they are. Gain of 7. Tackle made by KJ Holloway. But move the sticks. Colleyville does it again, and this drive continues. Man.
We officially go under 1 minute to play, and this will be the first play inside of either red zone so far tonight.
Man, oh man. Can we possibly see a score here? Hand off to Wiley. We aren't going to see any positive yards on this one. The Cougars blow up Wiley in the backfield. Getting the TFL as Caleb Wright, the big senior defensive lineman / linebacker, getting it done. Big loss. 2nd down and about 14-13 to go.
Hodge is one of those flex players that just plays whatever you need him to on that 3-4 defensive scheme. He can put fingers in the turf or he can approach off of the corner, whatever you need him to do, and he got it done right there.
We've seen Hodge play both outside linebacker, inside linebacker, as well as blitz. Free play here. Throw back of the end zone, incomplete. Flag will stand. Pass was intended. Wow. So this is This is going to make things interesting here.
Intended target that time, number 15 for the Panthers. I'm not going to try to pronounce that.
So now as we anticipate to see what Seguin's defense has in store after that penalty. That's Connor Supankesi, that is.
There we go.
Try to see if you could get it. I wanted to give you a little time.
I tried to sound it out in my head, and that is not what I would have come up with.
9 seconds left to go. As now, instead of 2nd and 14, it's going to be 2nd down and 9 to go after the penalty. Here we go. Throw. It's not going to get very far. Pass is caught by Bryson Burgess, but a host of Seguin Cougars there to make the stop. First one to get there is going to be number 19, Preston Randall. Randall, his 2nd tackle of the game, as that will conclude the first quarter of play. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been not really a snoozer, but it hasn't been as excited as many people would expect. Zach, what say you?
I say we've got 3 more quarters left to play for a reason. Stick around. We'll be back with more on the ASN.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Second quarter, just moments away from Wildman Field. Jared Jones. Zach, at least weather-wise, a fantastic change of pace, a welcome change of pace, at least for me. The fact that we're not in the 90s anymore, not going to have any complaints here.
I had to go dig into the depths of my closet to figure out where something with long sleeves was. You get up before sunrise, and instead of being 60s or 70s, it's closer to the 40s. You step outside, and you're like, oh, my goodness.
So after that no gain on the Burgess run before the end of the period, it's going to be 3rd down and long for Colleyville. Another big 3rd down. This drive was extended. Well, this drive began from a fumble that was returned for 41 yards. Ironically, by Burgess. The main back for Weaver is going to be Wiley, who's standing to Weaver's left. Man in motion. Weaver steps back, under pressure, has the middle of the field wide open. Along the left hash, jukes to his left, in the end zone, touchdown, Colleyville! Weaver calls his own number, goes 17 yards to the house, and we have our first points of the game for the first play of the second quarter. So if you didn't like the first quarter scoring-wise, you already like the second.
What a way to start this second period. There was nobody in the middle of the field spying on the quarterback. Everybody was paying attention to the receivers, and Colleyville makes them pay.
Landon Dressel, the junior, listed as a wide receiver, going to be doing the kicking for tonight. Good snap, good hold, line drive, kick through the uprights, and good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have points, and we got them in a big way. Colleyville Heritage takes the opening strike and draws first blood. It's 7-0. Back after this on the Antler Sports Network.
I'm Tori Kennedy, and this is my sister.
Issa Gilmore.
And it pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
My favorite part about subbing is just the different types of experiences you get. Getting to work with different age groups really let me experience working with younger kids and older kids and kind of figure out where I wanted to work.
I felt like it was really good experience just to kind of be on my own in the classroom and being able to get that teaching experience that I would use later on in my career. It pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
Jared Jones, Zachary Arnold having a grand old time here at Wildman Field. 11:53 left, and guess what, folks? We have a touchdown on the very first play from scrimmage of the quarter. A 17-yard touchdown rush from Bodie Weaver to conclude what was a very, very long drive. And now Seguin with a chance to respond. Hans' team is out for the Cougars. An interesting return set up here. Wow.
You just gotta wait for that huddle to break. You can't trust anybody at the high school level.
You sure can't. As this is a pooch kick, high arcing kick. Fair catch is called by Brown. He calls it around about the 32, 33-yard line. And that's where Seguin will take over 1st and 10, Zach, with a chance to respond. Is that the touchdown you were expecting? Is that how you saw either team drawing first blood?
Absolutely not. I didn't even know that Weaver had that ability in him, and yet he makes the most of what the defense gave him, which was no spy in the middle. Made a couple of moves inside the 5. I think he might have gotten a little bit of a tush push at the 1 to get across the plane. So it was a great effort and a great team effort to get him across that goal line. And you're right, it's absolutely time for the Cougars to respond.
The brotherly shove, the Panther push, the heritage heave, whatever you want to call it, it's got him 7. Seguin looking to respond now. Mesh in motion on 1st and 10. Andrews under center. Mesh goes back across in motion, fakes the handoff to him. Flag is thrown. They're going to hand it to Trotter. Trotter pushed back. Might have gotten to the line of scrimmage, but ain't going to get much more than that. Flag was thrown by the headline judge, Jeff Engelman, on the far side.
They allowed the play to continue, so it wasn't a false start.
Yeah? No, it is a false start against Seguin.
The play continued, though.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure.
Illegal formation, perhaps? Aren't those the same motions?
I believe so. So, yeah, that's a great point.
There may have been somebody covering up the tight end that wasn't supposed to.
Or hate to sting Cowboy fans here. Maybe somebody didn't report.
I'm not talking about that football game. Sorry. I'm here to talk about this football game.
I had to get that off at some point. I apologize. 11:25 left. Andrews rolling out. It's got a man. It's caught Smith. Smith at about the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 7. It's going to be complete right in front of us here on the visitor side of Wildman Field. So now that's going to be about, let's make it 2nd down, a very manageable 2nd down. Gain of 7 is going to make it 2nd and 8. Take another look here at that sticky Spider-Man catch by Smith along the sideline. Seguin is, even though the first quarter is relatively quick, they've controlled possession pretty much to their whim with 11:09 left to go. Andrews in the gun, drops back. Looking right, looking now left. Into the flat again, it's Brown. Brown jukes, it is going to get far. Maybe a yard short of the line again, and yep, they're going to mark him short a singular yard, folks. Big 3rd down and 1 after the gain of 7.
Number 7, Hayden West, in on the tackle, and so far they're allowing Brown to have those shorter completions, but they're not allowing any yards after the catch. The one time he got yards after the catch, it got called back for a hold. So far, Heritage's secondary has been containing Brown, limiting what he does after he makes the catch.
Big 3rd and 1 coming. Andrews. It's going to be a handoff. 1st down and more on the ground. And guess who it is? Arguably the strongest runner on this Seguin roster. It's going to be Kadarius Trotter, the sophomore. Big time gain to move the chains. 1st down Seguin.
He's called Trotter, but he looked more like a bulldozer on that one. Pushing and shoving his way and forcing 3 or 4 Heritage defenders to bring him to the turf. Nice job moving the sticks there.
Love the wordplay, Mr. Arnold. 10-10 left to go in the first half. Fresh set of downs knocking on the door of Panther territory. Ball's on the 49. Double tight end motion here for Seguin. 2 receivers out wide. Cheatham on the move. Andrews under center. Drops back. Pump fakes. He's going to take it himself across his midfield, and he has space along midfield. Jukes along the left, gets killed at around the 28-yard line, but gets the 1st down. Gain of about 21. Move the sticks. Andrews took a hefty hit, but great job using his legs again to extend plays.
I want to say he ducked at exactly the right time here, though. It looked like a couple of Heritage players bumped helmets as Andrews sat down underneath a good portion of that contact.
1st and 10 after the run from Andrews. They're going to hand it to Trotter again. Trotter ain't going to get very far. He's going to lose yardage. Loss of 1.
Jared, something that I noticed on that previous quarterback scramble, that was a designed bootleg that Heritage read and got into his face. But Andrews, being athletic enough, was able to elude that pressure. If it was any other quarterback less athletic than him, that would have been a sack, and yet he's able to flip the field with it.
And that's just the Swiss Army knife that you have on offense. You can have as many first, second, third, as many reads as you want in an offensive play. But if you have someone like Andrews, no play is ever truly dead. No play is ever truly busted. After the short loss, juking the other way, looking for open field is Andre Bowman Hunt getting his first run of the game. He's going to gain maybe 2. It's going to be third down and long yet again for Seguin. Donning that number 24. Deontay Bowman Hunt, the senior. Now, Zach, another big third down yet again at 8.5 minutes. Do you finally try to take a shot downfield? Because two big things in this Colleyville secondary that we haven't really seen against Seguin. Big corners on their big receivers and double safety help.
I think at this down and distance, Jared, you might try to play it safe with something underneath. Because if you get positive yards, you're in better field goal position.
Let's see what they have in store. They get it to Brown. They're going to let Brown try to do it himself. Breaks 1 tackle. Can he break 2? No dice. He's going to get brought down by Jaden Hall yet again. It's been both Hall and West who have been the two that have seen Brown in coverage. That short gain might be for about 4 or 5, but it isn't going to be for a first down. So now, big fourth down on the way for Seguin.
They had a very similar down and distance before. Were not able to get it. But I think that particular play call was a clear indication that Coach Gordon was intending to go for it the whole way.
Just trying to set his offense up. I for him now. Timeout is going to be called by Colleyville Heritage. They will have one more timeout to use in their back pocket for the rest of this half. How will Coach Edwards and company use it? Big fourth down coming up with 7:22 left. Back after this on the ASN. Zach Arnold, happy to be with you. 7:22 left. Seguin has it 4th and 5 on the Colleyville 26 in the second period. A very important fourth down now. Andrews yelling commands. Brown now goes to the lone receiver at the top of your screen. Andrews is under center. Brown goes in motion again. Andrews rolls out. Jump throw. It's batted. It's tipped. Incomplete. Turnover on downs again. Colleyville shows up in droves on defense. Making the tap is going to be Madden Williams. I think Madden Williams might have at least found himself a starting spot at the small forward for the Panthers basketball team. Great hand there to force a turnover on down. 7:16 left to go in the second.
Yeah, the senior linebacker was in the right place at the right time. And this is an adjustment again by the Colleyville defense. There have been plays in the past where they didn't have anybody keeping their eyes on the quarterback. This time he's playing the spy and was able to deflect the pass across the middle.
Going to be interesting to see how Seguin and their offense adjusts now after the turnover. Colleyville with the momentum again. It's going to be a run with a lane and a burst. It's going to be Bryce Abram on his first carry. Gain of 13. Move the sticks. 1st and 10 Colleyville again. That rushing attack by the Panthers tonight, Zach, has been pretty potent.
He's listed as a running back, but I wonder if he does track and field. He tried to hurdle the defender there at the 35-yard line. Not very successful.
Not very Zeke Elliott-esque of him.
Love the effort, though.
6:50 and rolling. It's going to be a throw to the outside and a big-time hit. Pass was intended for Nicholas Wakumbi, but isn't going to get very far. Hit immediately on the tackle for Seguin is Jordan Chris, the senior.
Chris read that play the whole way. He understood the assignment and made a big, big hit. It's a great defensive effort. And they're putting that yard marker behind the 6. It looks like a completion and a tackle for loss.
Yeah, it's going to be a loss of 2. 2nd and 12 with 6:20 and counting. They'll mark it at the 33-yard line. Seguin looking to bring the heat in. They do. Weaver Steps up through pressure, but gets brought down again and around the 31-yard line. They're going to say he got to the original line of scrimmage, so now another big third down, this time for Colleyville. Hodge yet again back in the starting lineup, showing how important he is to the Seguin defense.
Yeah, him and Jaden Domino combined for the TFL, and this is something that Colleyville Heritage has not had much in this first half, playing third and long behind the chains. This is a big opportunity for the Cougar defense to get off the field.
We've seen them try to go downtown twice, both unsuccessful.
There's not much to see downtown anyway.
So what we have here, it's a throw. Juke to the right side. Now juke to the left. Getting bottled up is Abram. He isn't going to get to the line to gain, but he will stay out of bounds, but get positive yardage. Gain of around 4 or so. Yep, they're going to mark it to the original line of scrimmage, so that'll be a gain of 3 or so. We're waiting on the spot.
I would say probably 6 or 7. They were behind the chains, got in front of it, but it's not going to be long enough.
No, it will not. That'll make it 4th and 8.
Worth noting, Jared, Colleyville won the toss and deferred. So with about 5 minutes to go until the break, this is prime opportunity for Seguin to get a little momentum before going to the locker room.
Especially having your defense trot back onto the field. Thankfully, they were able to force the 4 and out. High arcing punt. Not too much distance. Takes an awkward bounce sideways and is going to get marked at around the 36-yard line. So Seguin will take back over 1st and 10. And now, Zach, it's do or die time. As slow and methodical as both these teams been, as low scoring as this game is, you don't want to go into the break scoreless, especially for giving Colleyville Heritage the ball back out of the locker room.
No, you definitely do not. This is an opportunity to get it to Brown and see what he can do with it. So far, all he's been able to do is pick up 6, 7, 8 yards, but if you're able to do that consistently and regularly for the next 4 minutes and 37 seconds, you put yourself in position for either a field goal or, God willing, a touchdown.
4:37 left to go in this first half. 1st and 10 for Seguin. After getting turnover on downs, hand off to Mesh. Mesh along the numbers on the left side. It gets maybe a yard or 2. They'll give him a yard on that one. 2nd down and 9 coming up.
Jared, it won't show up on any of the stats books, but I tend to count a turnover on downs as a turnover. You lose your possession, you give the ball back to the opponent. It won't show up on the turnover tally, but you've got 2 empty possessions where you're not even able to punt it away or try a field goal. So right now, by my estimation, by my counts, me, Zach Arnold, it's a 2-0 turnover margin that's going against the Cougars right now.
Hard to disagree with you there. I mean, it's a slow-moving game. We've seen it. We'll get ready for 2nd and 9. Now the team has really been able to have big explosive plays. Here comes Mesh right as I say to him midfield. Maybe one more man to beat at the 40. Gets across the middle of the field to the left hash. At the 25, 20, 15, 10. Jukes to the left, still on his feet. Bounce down. Wow. Big time play. 52-yard carry by Mesh, and right as we said, it's been a slow game, not a lot of big plays. Mesh comes up, getting off of multiple Panther defenders to move the sticks 1st and 10.
It's a huge play and great heads-up running by Mesh. He saw that he was going to run out of opportunities on the far side hash, cuts it back to the near side, and if it isn't for number 7, Hayden West, that's going in for 6.
That's 6 for sure, my friend. Ball's on the 13. 1st and 10. Handoff, and it's immediately blown up. Schreider isn't going to get far. He lost yardage there. And guess who it is on the tackle for Colleyville? Number 12, the captain, Dax Hesbin. Hepson has been fantastic at that linebacker spot, Zach. He's been the straw that stirs the drink for this Colleyville defense.
Well, Colleyville's also playing a 3-4 scheme, and they're sending a linebacker on almost every play, but they're flip-flopping which side of the line they're coming from, and it's causing confusion on that offensive line.
2nd and long is going to be a fade ball again. Back in the end zone. He caught it. It's him. Touchdown, Seguin. Peeler going up top, climbing the ladder. We knew it was going to happen at some point, Zach. The good old-fashioned back-end zone fade ball. We've seen it all year long, and they do it again. Seguin gets on the board 6-0 with 2:39 left to go on the 13-yard touchdown pass.
They saw the man-to-man coverage they were looking for. Andrews with perfect ball placement and a great adjustment there as well, going up and making the grab. Peeler puts the Cougars on the board, extra point away from a tie.
Lopez looking to boot things off, holding. It's going to be G-Monty Smith. Great snap. Hole kick is up, through, and true. Colleyville coaches and fans wanting a hold. However, it'll just be a touchdown instead. Let's take another look at that big-time play. The pitch and catch. The fade ball strikes yet again. As Peeler gets in the end zone, Seguin gets onto the board. Back after this, 2:39 left to go.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Shaking.
13-yard touchdown connection from Andrews to Peeler just moments ago before the break. So we take another look here. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold with you at Wildman Field. 2:39 left to go as we get ready for kickoff to continue what has all of a sudden now turned into a heck of a ball game, Mr. Arnold.
Both teams understand what's at stake here, and they're both playing like it. It's a fun night for football.
Breaking off and has a little bit of space, still pushing through. Gained about 15 yards after contact on the kickoff return. Heck of an effort by Colleyville's number 20, Bryson Burgess, the senior defensive back. Doing it on special teams too, getting it done. Heck of a game there.
Seguin still has a game against one of the teams in front of them in the form of the Summit Jaguars. That'll be their senior night game in a couple of weeks' time here at Wildman.
Battle of Matlock Road. We thought the Timberview game was going to be intense. Summit and Seguin are even closer to one another. The tricky triangle, I guess you can call it, between Seguin, Timberview, and Summit.
Well, even Bowie's only a couple of minutes away. I was looking at it. All four of those schools are within about an 8 to 9 minute drive of each other.
That's got to make for some awkward bus rides there as a TFL. No, not really a TFL. It's going to be a gain of nothing, however, to make it 2nd down and 10 on the carry by Gerardo Wiley, the running back.
Well, being that landlocked, it provides very few opportunities for you to grow and expand. I'm sure Seguin would love to play some of the other Arlington schools. Unfortunately, they need a few more kids in their area in order to move up to 6A.
Snap is botched. Falling onto it is going to be Weaver. Seguin almost falling on the football. No, it's not going to be Weaver who ends up falling on it. It's going to be Gerardo Wiley who saves the day. And that's going to be a loss of 2 and a stoppage of play here.
Seguin wants that ball back.
Indeed they do. Can't necessarily blame them either. As they take a timeout, both teams sitting at 1 timeout apiece with 1:51 left in this half. Back after this on the Antler Sports Network.
I'm Tori Kennedy, and this is my sister.
Issa Gilmore.
And it pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
My favorite part about subbing is just the different types of experiences you get. Getting to work with different age groups really let me experience working with younger kids and older kids and kind of figure out where I wanted to work.
I felt like it was really good experience just to kind of be on my own in the classroom and being able to get that teaching experience that I would use later on in my career. It pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
1:51 left to go in the first half after the Seguin timeout. As Zach Arnold stated, my broadcast partner for tonight, they want that football back. Cutsy timeout there by Joe Gordon. But Zach, you said you liked the call.
I love the call because we haven't seen very much from the special teams unit and Ryan Zuckert to lead me to believe that he's going to flip the field very well. And Seguin, with a timeout in their back pocket, if it's an incompletion here, they still keep that.
Let's see. Weaver drops back, steps up in the pocket, directing traffic, spins, gets brought down at the 30-yard line. Need to get a timeout, and they do. Goes Joe Gordon along the numbers, running onto the field, trying to get that timeout off. I believe he does. Yep. Final timeout and we'll take it with him. Seguin and the Zach Arnold stamp of approval gutsy call comes to fruition. Minute 42 left on the Antler Sports Network. Back after the break, both teams still waiting to leave their respective huddles. Minute 42 left to go in this first half. We're still knotted up at 7 apiece. In a game where both offenses have not been afraid to put up points, Seguin averaging 36 and Colleyville Heritage averaging 30. Neither team has hit double digits. We're barely touching double digits in points combined. This has not been what many would expect this contest to be. Well, 4th and 19 coming up for Colleyville with Seguin. No timeouts now. However, a minute 42, Zach, as you said during the break, that's a lot of time in high school football.
Yeah, they'll get it back with about a minute and a half to go, and both returners are standing near midfield, so this will be really, really good field position for Seguin.
The farthest back deep to receive is going to be Mesh for Seguin. Ryan Zuckart looking to boot things away. Great snap, almost blocked. Wobbly kick, takes a Seguin bounce, goes back the other way. Colleyville will down it at the 38-yard line, and now 1st and 10 for Seguin. And there it is, Zach, pretty prime field position.
And hey, after that big run that Mesh was able to break off on the last possession, it showed what kind of explosiveness this offense is capable of. I think it put the Panther defense on notice that they need to be careful during this last buck 34 before they head to the locker room.
Let's see what Andrews and company have for the Seguin offense now. Minute 34 left. No timeouts. Colleyville Heritage has one, and they will receive the second half kickoff. At the half, we already heard from the University of North Texas at Dallas Women's Basketball Virtual Media Day. We'll hear from former Maverick Josh Howard and company in the Men's Virtual Media Day at the half. All that coming up in about a minute and a half. Andrews, stomp of the foot, puts a man in motion. Hands off. Open is Mesh. Mesh has a lane along the sideline at the 40. One more man to beat. Pushed out of bounds. Touchdown saving tackle. It's going to be made by Colleyville's number 4. Malachi Mesh on the run. We don't have a number 4 listed. However, as the roster monster strikes again.
Every game. It happens every game.
Every game. As now Seguin rushes back to the line of scrimmage. Minute 25. Man in motion here. It's going to be a handoff to Mesh again. Mesh methodical. Has a lane on the left side. Has to get some extra space, though, and isn't going to get there. Tackle's going to be made by Colleyville's number 20, Bryson Burgess.
Burgess has been all over the field so far tonight. Making catches, making tackles, recovering fumbles. He is a do-it-all player for the Panthers.
Inside of a minute. Seguin might have 1 or 2 plays left in this half.
Well, the clock stops if you get a first down, so if you can get it inside the 15, you might be able to extend it by a little bit, but they don't seem to be in much of a rush. Pretty close to field goal range.
Can't blame him. Give your defense as much rest as possible. Andrews looking to go downtown. No, he's going to keep it himself. Steps up on the 20, 15, 10, 5, goal line, touchdown, Seguin. No, he stepped out of bounds. Andrews steps out right at about the 4. No, they're going to mark him at the 3. Wow, 1st and goal coming up for Seguin as Andrews makes it happen again, Zach.
Another busted play. That was supposed to be a pass play. They're not spying on this young man, and he's making them pay for it. 2nd or 3rd time in this half that he's been able to go for 15 plus.
That's just how elusive Andrews is, Zach. We've seen it all year long. 35 seconds left now. Fair to say we could possibly see a one-on-one ball as now double coverage over to Brown up end zone. Easy lane for Kadarius Trotter for 6 more. As Seguin strikes, leaving half half a minute left on the clock. That's a picture-perfect drive for the Seguin offense if you're Coach Gordon and that offensive coaching staff. Can't draw that up any better.
That's a 1 minute drive, Jared. They got it with exactly 1:32, and there's 32 seconds on the clock. That is a 1 minute scoring drive, and that is exactly what this team has been capable of all year, and they put it on display here to take the lead.
Can't beat that with a stick, Zach. Now awaiting the PAT from Lopez. Jimani Smith, the holder. Wow. 2-yard trot for Trotter. High snap for Smith. Almost blocked. Flag is thrown. It is going to be a hold. The Colleyville fans have been begging for that holding on PATs all evening long. Well, guess what, Panthers fans? You got it. So this PAT will be a tad bit more difficult.
You mentioned the Colleyville fans. This is Colleyville Heritage's first game being played in Arlington ISD, and they have showed out on this Thursday night. A contingent of roughly 300 fans by my estimation. Not only did you show up for Thursday night lights, you made a heck of a drive during rush hour to come down here. So credit where it's due. They've got a pretty loyal fan base.
Both Grapevine and Colleyville and the GC ISD travel extremely well. And when we saw it in the first game of the year here at Wildman Field on the Antler Sports Network, it was Grapevine versus Seguin. Seguin won that game. Fair to say they won it pretty handedly. That final was 41-3. But Mustang fans still showed up in droves. Smith to hold now. This is going to be a 30-yard PAT. How about that? Getting all the kick and some extra change here. Smith, hold, kick is up. And bueno, it's good from 30. However, it's just going to be for 1 extra point. Seguin finally gets 7 more on the board. They take the lead. 32 seconds left. Back after this and the final couple of ticks of the first half on the Antler Sports Network.
I'm Tori Kennedy, and this is my sister.
Issa Gilmore.
And it pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
My favorite part about subbing is just the different types of experiences you get. Getting to work with different age groups really let me experience working with younger kids and older kids and kind of figure out where I wanted to work.
I felt like it was really good experience just to kind of be on my own in the classroom and being able to get that teaching experience that I would use later on in my career. It pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
Jared Jones, Zach Arnold back into Wildman. 32 seconds left as the Cougars strike right before the end of the half. Colleyville, however, just a tiny bit of hope to get something going before they head to the locker room. And Zach, you can attest to this. Crazier things have definitely happened.
No, they absolutely have. All 21 points in this ballgame have been scored here in this second quarter. And Colleyville was the ones who broke it open 7-0 to start the quarter. And then after that, it's been all Seguin.
Running kick. Lopez gets a great boot into this one. This is going to roll in the back of the end zone for a touchback. So Colleyville pretty much have to trot the length of the field. But we saw Aaron Rodgers throw yet another one of his pretty much expected Hail Marys. So maybe Bodie Weaver has a little bit of Aaron Rodgers and to get one downfield and try to get to the end zone with just over 30 seconds left.
They do still have one timeout.
Yes, they do.
And the clock stops when you get a first down, so if you move fast enough, you can try to spike it, get yourself into better position. It all hangs on this first down. They're going to take it on the near hash. That's because they want to set up a particular play on that open side of the field, I would imagine. If you can get some decent yardage here on this first down, then great. Try to get yourself into better Hail Mary position. If not, cut your losses and head to the locker room.
Nicholas Wacombe and Luke Graves are two lone receivers at the top of your screen. It's going to be a run play. They get it into the open field. It's going to be Abram. Abram stays in bounds. No gain, it appears to be. And looks like they're just going to let this thing run out or maybe try to get off one more play. They still have a timeout. 14 seconds. Still ticking away. 10 seconds. 9. Yep, they're going to send this one to the locker room. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We have hit the half.
Somebody watched their Sesame Street this morning.
Indeed I did. Who can blame me? Either way, one thing we can count on is hopefully some more points. A very low-scoring affair. We have hit the break. 14-7 in Wildman Field. Seguin with the advantage at home on Pinkout. In 3 minutes, we'll have the University of North Texas at Dallas Media Day for the men's basketball team. Former Maverick head coach Josh Howard previews this season and more with Conference SID Jim Powers. Myself and Zach Arnold will get you ready for the second half and more in the halftime report. Back after this, 14-7 Seguin on the Antler Sports Network.
Hello, everybody. We continue to talk with all of our outstanding men's basketball coaches and student athletes here on the 2024 Men's Basketball Media Day for the Sooner Athletic Conference. I'm Jim Powers, the Assistant Commissioner of the Sooner, and we're going to head down to Dallas, and a team that I know is going to be on the rise this year is North Texas Dallas. We're going to chat with their head coach, Josh Howard, and also just a terrific student athlete and a phenomenal basketball player, Vernon Johnson. And Vernon, you know, last year I think you guys fell a little bit short on some of your goals. Has that motivated you guys during your off-season workouts and getting in the gym for preseason stuff as we get ready to go here in a few weeks?
Definitely. I would say the guys are more than motivated from last year. Seeing how everything panned out, being under 500, it's just the motivation that everybody's come in with. Everybody's striving to be better each day and be better than what we were last year, have a new mindset. The chemistry is different this year, and it's just the all-around aura in the gym is just different. I think everybody's coming together and understands that we're one of those teams that's kind of underlooked somewhat, and just looking to have a great year this year.
Talk a little bit about your leadership, and I know Coach is leaning on you a little bit because you're one of those guys that have been here. Are you a vocal leader, lead by example, or do you kind of intermix the two, in between?
I would say this year is definitely a mix. Usually I'm more of a just keep my head down, lead by example, show how I play hard, guard. But being a senior this year, knowing that I'm one of those guys everybody depends on. I've been in the system the longest, so everybody leans to me for questions on how to run this or what coach is looking for. So I kind of have to be more vocal and just lead that way.
And Coach, talk a little bit about this young man and what he means to the program and how much you've kind of leaned into him to be that leader, not only in the classroom, on the court, in the community. It's just got to be a really, really cool thing to have a young man like him.
Definitely been a blessing to have Vernon Johnson on our team. Like you said, just a leader on and off the court, especially with his story. And I know he's been tired of me saying this for years, but his story off the court is the reason why I'm so in love with him and the way he approaches the game of basketball. He has no fear. He definitely leads by example, and that's one thing I see in myself and him. And he's always fighting to get these guys to fight to the end. So for me, having a guy like this on the team is another extension of myself, where I can kind of focus on other things with the team when Vernon is able to, basically carry my torch while I'm not paying attention. So to have him is definitely a blessing, and, hopefully he can push us over the top this year.
And you've got some other guys that are veterans, but also you've got a great group coming in of fresh faces with some shoes to fill. Talk a little bit about some of those names that we are going to see throughout the year.
Well, one of the guys that we're going to depend on a lot from returning is Jaden Johnson-Blair, our point guard, who's had a tremendous upside in shooting the ball better now and just having confidence in his teammates to find them and make the right read and the right play. Also, we have Jason Orta and Daniel Sloan. Those two guys were on my JV team 2 years ago, and they've definitely showed a lot of growth and maturity where I can trust them to play longer than 10 minutes out there on the court and be X-factor guys. The new returners, or the new guys I have coming, Greg Crawford, Dorian Williams, and Darian Jones all went to Northlake here in Dallas, Texas. All came from Josh Mills' team, where I know Josh Mills as far as he coached at Wake Forest. So that's the connection we have. So I know he's taught them the way that I wanted them to be taught. And they're going to come in and just play, with their hair on fire, and know that it's another opportunity for them to continue their college basketball career and hopefully, make it to the next level. So for me, being able to find pieces that I know can fit into my program is definitely a great aspect to have, and I'm looking for greatness out of our guys.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, Vernon, how cool is it that your head coach kind of ran up and down a basketball court with some really good dudes? I mean, and some of the stuff that he's bringing to your system, he's learned there and he's seen it there. How cool is that, to where you're learning some stuff from an NBA great and also somebody that's bringing some of that stuff to what the Trailblazers are doing?
Yeah, man, it's great. It's one of the main reasons I came here. It's good to just have a pro mindset to be able to learn from. And he's been in the same places that I've been, and he's been a student athlete and been at the pro level. So, and he's seen different stuff and different reads and different mindsets that he has. Like I say, it's good to pick his mind and know what he sees on the court, because it might be something that I've never seen before. But him having that pro mindset, he knows these different reads and knows how to gel teams together. And he's been on teams that have had these greats and where he might not have been the best player. Like, how do you move without the ball, with the ball, or like what can you do off the bench? Just staying engaged, and that's one of the big things. He preaches that in consistency. Just seeing him go out there and play hard every day. I just know it's going to be the same. He comes out there to coach hard every day.
Coach, I wasn't going to let it get away. This is the first time we've been doing something like this. I wasn't going to let you slide on that. So, Coach, let's talk about your non-conference schedule and, Dallas Christian, Jarvis, North Texas, Dallas. Some great matchups for you guys in the non-conference to get ready for arguably one of the best seasons we may see in the Sooner. And we'll talk about the Sooner schedule here in a second. Talk about your non-con games.
Yeah, definitely want to prepare my guys for the conference. So playing teams like what you say, UTD, UT Arlington. Jarvis Christian is in the Red River, and they're one of the top teams over there. Even we got Rice on December 20th. So two tough D1 teams, a tough D2 team, and of course an NAIA team and a Christian team. So for me, just preparing these guys to understand, again, what we deal with night in and night out at the Sooner Athletic Conference. From Langston all the way down to the bottom team. Every night is a game that you could possibly lose if you don't come prepared. So, just again, like Vern said, keeping their mindset on the fact that we can be a great team if we think it and go out there and execute. Again, taking this job 5 years ago, didn't know what to expect about the Sooner Athletic Conference because I didn't know. But since I've been here, the basketball is second to none in my mind. We have a lot of coaches in our conference that do coach these young men up to be great outside of basketball, and that's one thing I appreciate about some of the colleagues in this conference. So for me, it's helped me stick around because I could have easily left, but seeing where I'm at and seeing my platform being used by these young men like Vernon and others from other teams that I've actually helped allows me to continue to keep giving back, paying it forward. And that's all I care about at this point in my career because I've did it all done, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's about giving back now.
And once again, Coach, I think our conference is arguably the best in the country, up and down. And there's not going to be, and you just mentioned, there's not an easy out. Every Thursday and Saturday this year, it's going to be a rock fight and a heavyweight battle between, our teams in the conference because anybody can knock anybody off on any given night.
Agreed. And just like going back to last year, we lost 8 games by 3 or more points. And just that simple change of a play or, guys buying in could have easily changed our record. So for me, again, that just lets me know how to coach my guys coming to this year and also letting them know, like, again, the tables can turn real quick because the year previous, we was one of the hottest teams in the conference. So for me, preaching consistency, understanding that we want to stick to our philosophy and just play the same way will help us, stay consistent.
And Vernon, you're one of the top players in the Sooner Athletic Conference. But how cool is it that you get to match up against some of the best talent in the Sooner, if not in the nation, on a nightly basis throughout the conference season?
It's just good to, iron sharpens iron. So I just love to go out there, have those good matchups, and I don't know, just perform for my team. I usually don't look at individual matchups. I just go out there to win, man. Trying to be one of those top teams in the conference.
And the community there has really embraced what you guys are doing. It's got to be a lot of fun to play a home game down there at North Texas Dallas. It just seems like a really cool place to play on the streams that I've seen and all of that great stuff.
Yeah, especially those close games. Like last year we had a lot of those three points or less games that we lost and won. So everybody's really engaged. The fans are really engaged. Even people that just aren't even from the school, just be surrounding area, or even people from other schools that come and support.
Yeah.
And Coach, for you, it's just got to be so much fun to be able to coach in a town you played professionally in, and to have that community buy-in for what you guys are doing.
Yes, definitely. I always tell my guys they never know who's watching us, and it comes a lot from me and who I am. So again, keeping them mindful, keeping them understanding that the community really pushes athletics, and we need that support, especially with us being the youngest team in the conference. So being able to have the resources we need to push these guys over, even the gym. And I tell my guys we're a nomad team because we really haven't had our own home gym.
Yeah.
But at the same time, being able to have a place we can call home. So this year, being able to play at Ellis Davis Fieldhouse is going to, I think, help our upside on winning a lot of those close games because it's going to be probably the best gym in the conference as far as gyms go. So I'm looking forward to that experience for my guys, and again, hopefully it pushes us over the top.
No doubt about it. Well, guys, it's great to talk to you. I appreciate you taking some time out of the busy schedules right now. But I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do this year, and I'll be following along all year as long as with everybody else that follows the Sooner.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you guys joining us once again from down in Dallas at North Texas Dallas. Josh Howard, the head basketball coach on the men's side, and Vernon Johnson. They are a lot of fun. And watch this young man. He can hoop it up as better as anybody in the conference. He's going to be a lot of fun to follow throughout the year. When we come back, we'll continue to talk it over with a lot of our great coaches and student athletes here on the 2024 Sooner Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Media Day.
So they're on 11 of the Stallions. New quarterback now for the second series. Corkalanian, Jesper by first name, 6'2", junior.
Got
and
picked
off and going in the end zone on a touchdown. Rams defense.
For both teams. Michi, it's going to be a fake. He keeps it. Jukes has room if he can get across. He's at the 45, 50. He gets the first and is still rolling. Has a block upfield at the 20. Down at the 17-yard line.
There.
They hand it off to the bell cow. And looking at open field is Woods. Woods at the 40, 30, 25, 20. Pick up the phone, folks. House call. Touchdown, Timberview. In the slot. Peeler also with him. Looks like they're going to go fade ball here. Lays it out there. Caught! He caught it! It's into the end zone! Touchdown, Seguin! And the rest of the offensive coaching staff have in store. Joel to the hands. Andrews, fade ball, end zone. Oh my goodness! It's caught! One-handed! Touchdown! Handoff to Woods. Woods pushes forward, has a lane. Jukes to the left of the 15. Flag is thrown. Still pushing into the end zone. That being his left. Joel to the hands. Drops back in shotgun. Steps up. Has plenty of room. Has Brown streaking. Caught! He caught it! He caught it! Oh my goodness, he's done it again! Handoff again to Woods. Woods had a steamed out of the ankles. No good. Hurdle, no good. Brought down at the 43-yard line. And a little bit after.
Lyndon Kilder can get stopped.
Picking off for Lyndon Kilder is going to be number 69, John George, the senior. That deep to receive. It's going to be an onside kick. Is it going to get to midfield? It does. The ball is live. Looks like Lyndon Kilder is going to get the football. 4 out wide, 1 back for Morales. Morales takes a shotgun snap, drops back, looking to his right, lines up and throws, has a man on the 50. He's caught at the 45, 40, 35, 30. First play of the game in a good old-fashioned house call. Touchdown, Rough Riders. 10 seconds have elapsed. Conference matchup. Minute 49 left to go. Tagging off from the 3. Morales lines up. Fade ball 50-50. Caught at midfield. 1 man to beat. Touchdown, Saginaw! Looking to throw. Holcomb. Pass is complete along to the flat. Peeler gets a block out the outside across the middle of the field. Now to the left. Hatching back to the left. Has an open man. Touchdown! Christian Heritage again.
10:03 to play the first period. They're up 7 to 0. The ball is picked off at the 36-yard line. Leaping up for it and getting it on defense was Jaheim Evans. And then the Rams get it back down the far sideline. Holy smoly.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
We've hit the half at Wildman Field. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold, happy to be with you in a game, Zach, that has been, for lack of more colorful terms, low scoring. And a game that, in terms of the stat sheet, you would think would be much more in favor of the Seguin Cougars, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, the stats that we pulled up here at the halftime break, Jared, are very, very much in favor of the home team, which is surprising because it was Colleyville Heritage that started the scoring to begin the second quarter of play, and yet the offensive numbers are very, very much in favor of Seguin. Rushing attempts and yards, 11 carries for 45 yards for the Panthers, 24 carries for 181 for Seguin. There's only a few completions that were made because a lot of the offensive production for Heritage and Bodie Weaver was done on the ground on a 17-yard touchdown run, but he only has 3 completions, and they've all been those swing passes or short completions, and then there was that one play that was blown up for negative yards, and that loss of 3 has ended up resulting in a net of 3 completions for no pass yards. That is not a stat you see on very many scorebooks, but Weaver is doing more on the ground than he is with his arm so far in this first half.
And it's another thing to note as we look at the stats. Thank you to our Director of Statistics and Analytics, Noah Raditz, doing a fantastic job keeping us up to date on the numbers here. Seguin is 50% on third down. They're 3 of 6. In the Timberview game, if Seguin goes 50% on third downs, this is a completely different mantra for this contest tonight. Mm-hmm. If they go 50% on third down, Seguin isn't fighting for a playoff spot. They could be in second.
The ironic thing is, after that, they go for it on fourth down a couple of times and cannot convert. So it becomes a very critical down, does third down, because if you're not converting there, the statistics say you're also not converting on the down after it.
Correctamundo, Zach. 1-3, 33% for Seguin on fourth down. On third down for Colleyville Heritage, 2 out of 5 for 40%. Haven't gone forward on fourth down at all, but you never know. We might see something different. Time of possession pretty much been even. I mean, in terms of average time of possession, just over 7 minutes for Colleyville Heritage, about 5 minutes and change for Seguin. Although in that first quarter, it was fair to say that Zach Seguin pretty much controlled that first half in terms of clock management and possession. And it all started going into the flat with Carterius Brown, with not really going to their big play receivers or their big play moments that we've been accustomed to for this offense. It's been the ground attack. If we look at just simply rushing alone, multiple rushers for Seguin. Seguin has had 6 different players attempt a carry. Malachi Metz, Jimani Smith, Chevy Andrews, a quarterback who we've seen do things that seem completely asinine in hindsight. I mean,
at times.
And
defying logic.
Literally defying logic. That's the best way to put it. Damian Cheatham, who's moved over from tight end to take some snaps at running back. Kadarius Trotter, who 6 carries, 21 yards, averaging 3.5. Next to Mesh, who's averaging 23.5 yards per carry. He's one of the best rushers on the field. Dante Bowman Hunt, the sophomore, only 1 carry for 3 yards. Could possibly see some more from him. It's pretty much been slashed in half for Colleyville, however. It's been one man rushing the football. And as you said, Zach Arnold, that's Bodie Weaver. He's been doing it all for this Colleyville offense in the first half.
Well, that's the only thing that's keeping them in it at this point. You get that short field and get a touchdown off of it after that big fumble recovery. Other than that, Colleyville's offense has been rather quiet.
And you want to believe that, of course, every team makes adjustments. But if you're in the position of Colleyville Heritage, that question is, what adjustment do you really make? You're keeping a team that's averaging, knocking on the door 40 points a game to 14 points and a half.
Yeah.
Only Argyle has been able to do that in terms of their defensive stopping power. So what adjustments do you think? You already have the broadcast headset. What have you put on the coach's headset? What do you think that locker room talk insisted of for Colleyville Heritage?
If I'm in the Colleyville Heritage locker room, I'm very satisfied with the way that my defense is playing. Really, the biggest play that has been put out so far is a 51-yard run by Malachi Mesh that set up the touchdown. Other than that, there have not been very long plays when you take a look at the stats for Seguin. A long of 51, and then after that, it's a long of 13, 23, 12, 8, 4, 14. They haven't been very large chunk plays the way that 51-yarder is. For the most part, the defense is keeping things in front of them, but you can't have just 3 completions for 0 net yards.
You simply can't. I don't care how prolific your offense is or how great your O-line's blocking. No team on offense is going to be able to have that production and to win any football game, whether it be a game of this magnitude or not.
You'd have to have the immaculate triple option of Army or Navy to have 0 net passing yards and still have a chance to win the football game. They're not running a triple option. They're running a spread. So that, to me, is the biggest adjustment I'm looking for from Heritage. You have to do more through the air if you're running a spread offense.
All right. Zach, any closing thoughts as we get ready for half numeral 2?
I'm excited to see what Chevy Andrews can do in this second half. He has been the leader through the air and a leader on the ground, second most rushing yards in the game. He needs to carry this offense in the second half and hopefully carry them to the finish line and a victory.
Many questions coming in for both teams. Will Andrews be able to, quote, carry this offense for Seguin into victory? Will Colleyville's defense stand firm in their offense, build a little bit of momentum? We'll find out all that and more. Second half's coming up after this. It's 14-7 at Wildman. This coverage of Seguin Cougars football in the ASN continues after this break.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's...
Second half is set to begin. Oscar Lopez ready to kick things off for Seguin. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold, Happy to be with you tonight in a game that has had plenty of ups and downs. Looking for some more in half number 2. Colleyville Heritage will return. Going the other way with it is going to be the devious number 4. Breaks at the 50-yard line. Cross midfield and into Seguin territory. Flag is thrown late. So this is going to be interesting.
If this is a personal foul against Seguin, then that's another short field for Colleyville. That's the only time they've been able to get any scoring is when they were already in plus territory.
Now as the officials talk things over, we'll look forward to hearing from the white hat Joe Horn as the umpire Brian Buford now goes across that AISD logo at midfield to possibly get an explanation. One knock about being on the visitor side, we can't clearly see.
It is a face mask.
Yep, personal foul, and that, of course, will put Colleyville Heritage deeper into Seguin territory on their opening drive and a half. And Zach, you already brought it up. It's a very, very important thing to note. The most offense they've been able to get is when they get the short field.
Yep.
So.
And they get it at the 33 of Seguin to start the second half.
You can't get better deals than that at a Trader Joe's. Here we go. Opening drive. Throw is intended for Colleyville's Luke Grace, a senior, incomplete. 2nd and 10 now coming up as a quick substitution here. Checking in for Colleyville is going to be Blake Wendler. Haven't said his name a lot. The junior checking in at running back. Checking out is going to be Cash McCann, also the junior.
Jared, if you want to look for deals, I wouldn't suggest Trader Joe's. I would go down Mayfield Road to Trader's Village.
Ah, that's a great point. Very great point. Not sponsored. 11:49 and counting left to go. Handoff right down Main Street into the mayor's office. We're only got to the receptionist or the office vending machine, I guess you could say. Short gain is going to be for about 3. Now another big third down coming up for Colleyville in their opening drive. 3rd and 7 coming up after the run from Wiley. Huge third down. Weaver making calls at the line of scrimmage. 8 seconds. They get the snap off. It's going to be a bubble screen. Pass is complete. It's McCann. McCann bounced out of bounds next to the Seguin. Next to the sideline as the backup official takes a wallop. But he pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He seems to be okay. However, it is going to be short. 4th down and 1 yard to go. And of course, I don't think they're breaking out the field goal. They want to try to punch this thing through to continue this drive.
No, when you start with field position this good, you're going to try to take advantage of it. And with playoff seeding on the line, this is absolutely the correct play call.
Quick shift in formation now. Operating from the left hash. Going to be a handoff. Seguin sending pressure, but it's too much pressure. Breaking to the outside and looking for open space. Inside of the 5 is Wiley. Still pushing at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Colleyville. Wiley gets it done. Seguin was sending pressure. Just a little bit too much there. A touchdown-saving tackle made by Jose Seguin Cougars. And guess who? The linebacker, LaCorian Hodge, on the hit.
And a great downfield block by number 55 for Colleyville Heritage. That's Parker Leatherwood. If that's not an offensive lineman's name, I don't know what is.
That's a heck of a name. On 1st and goal from the 6. It's going to be a gain of around 1. Looking to see who I can give that run to. I believe that's going to be number 13. Demarius Logan, possibly, or is that a 6 scrunched up? Can't really tell. However, it's going to be a solid gain. Gain of 3 makes it 2nd and goal. Colleyville Heritage threatening. A similar break of the huddle that we saw when they ran it on 4th and 1. Handoff to Wiley. Wiley in! Touchdown, Colleyville! 3-yard touchdown push. And we are a PAT away from being knotted up at 14 all.
And that's all thanks to the 4th down conversion on a short field. Again, the best offense that Heritage has been able to get has been at the expense of Seguin mistakes. First the fumble, and now the personal foul on the big kickoff return.
PAT from Zucker. It's up. Flags are thrown. multiple golden hankies on the turf.
I believe it's offsides.
Yep. Hard to disagree with you there. Looks like the field goal will be good, and they'll just enforce it on the kickoff. Yes, they will. So, with the successful point after try, we, Zach, are back level. A 3-yard touchdown gives us our current score. With 9:54 left to go in the third quarter, it's all 14, folks, at Wildman. Back after this on the Antler Sports Network. All in this 5A Division II District 3 matchup. Colleyville 14, Seguin 14. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold. Happy to be with you, Zach. I don't know about you, but this third quarter, this second half is looking a lot more exciting than the first 2 quarters of football.
Well, that second quarter had 21 combined points. That was all of the scoring that we got in that first half. But to tie it up early in this second half, it's like it's 0-0 now, except these two teams have figured out a few things about each other, and now they're going to try to make those second half adjustments worth their while in these next, 22 minutes of gameplay or so.
Field position has been the name of the game for Colleyville's offense, a team that is currently sitting on back-to-back games, over 350 all-purpose yards. Kickoff is up and away, deep into the Arlington night sky. Ooh, boy.
He thought about it.
Imani Smith. Consider taking it out, but thankfully the junior wide receiver will take it to the back of the end zone for the touchback. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
Jared, one thing of note, there have not been any penalties assessed against Heritage so far tonight. That personal foul that put them in plus territory against the Cougars was their 6th of the evening for a total of 45 yards of field position.
Well, Zach, we heard from Coach Joe Gordon from Seguin in the pregame in our discussion with him. Colleyville's a very disciplined team. So wait a minute. Flag, there's a flag back at around the 40.
Oh, well, maybe I just misspoke. If this is an offside, then that will be the first penalty of the night against the Panthers.
Yep, and it is. The broadcaster jinx strikes again. Zach, you have done it once more.
In the reverse order, though. It goes to our benefit. I bring up a fun fact, and it gets negated.
Well, how many more fun facts do you have? I'm sure all the Seguin fans watching are asking.
Oh, I'm full of it, but I don't know if it's just fun facts or something else.
They'll push him back. No, it's not a penalty. I believe they forgot to assess from that offsides on the PAT.
If that's the case, the offsides from the PAT should have pushed it to the 45, and this is taking it back to the 35. I'm very confused as to what's happening right now. And offsides against Seguin should have taken it from the 40 to the 45.
Correct.
So if it was an offside on the kickoff, it should have backed it back up to the 40.
I believe that will be, there's going to be a penalty against Colleyville, their first of the game, and it was on a kickoff. This time it's going to be Smith who take it out, and this time not out of the end zone. Much better field position. He'll get to much better field position than what would have been with a touchback. 1st down and 10. Seguin will take over on offense with 9:48 left to go in the third. Another reminder that 2 big rivalry games to finish out the week tomorrow night. We'll be in the Rose City for the Rose City Holy War. The Bishop Gorman Crusaders taking on the All Saints Trojans. Myself and Matthew Herman's on the call. Kickoff from McCallum Stadium at 7 p.m. Central on ASN 1 and ASN Radio. And the very next day, Saturday afternoon, pregame at 3:30. It's the Highway 287 rivalry. Texas Wesleyan takes on Nelson from Crowley. Jimmy the Saint and Jared the Moose on the call on ASN 2 at 4 p.m. Andrews back under center. puts a man in motion. It's going to be Brown on this 1st and 10. Handoff, breaking to the outside is Mesh. Mesh is going to get brought down, and guess who? Donning that number 12, Dax Hampson makes it happen again. Wow. Hampson has been a man possessed. No gain for Mesh. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Texas A&M, the number 12 is a great honor to wear in memoriam of the 12th man, a big tradition down there in College Station. Wonder if that young man's thinking about heading down to College Station when he's finished playing at Colleyville.
Well, maybe so. The way he's played defense, I'm sure Aggie faithful would love to have his services on their ball club. 9:08 and counting. Then in motion yet again. It's going to be a handoff. This time it's going to be to Trotter. Trotter isn't going to get very far. He'll get pushed back. Not before he gets to the original line of scrimmage. No gain again. Back-to-back stuffs for the Colleyville defense. It's 3rd and 10. Deep in their own territory, mind you.
They're going back to a series of plays that worked really well in the first half. We talked at the stats. Over 180 rushing yards in that first half, and it was behind that big offensive line. Not able to create the necessary holes on these first 2 downs here.
Big 3rd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain from Trotter. Andrews going to try to go deep here. Flushed out to his right. On the run, throw is out of bounds. I don't know. That could be an intentional grounding. I don't see a receiver downfield, but he is out of the tackle box either way, Zach. It's going to be a turnover on downs. Punt time most likely for the Seguin Cougars at 4th and 9.
And I may be mistaken, but I think this will be Seguin's first punt of the evening. They've been going for it on 4th down in plus territory. And with this ball game being tied, you're not going to try and go for it from your own 35. Try to flip the field and see if your vaunted defense can make a stop when they've got a little bit more field position to work with.
One thing to note, Mesh is not punting. It's going to be Lopez, Oscar Lopez again. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Do they get the snap off? Yes, they do, right in the nick of time. Lopez running kick. Heck of a spin. Fair catch is going to be called by Colleyville's Bryson Burgess. Now.
So we add punt return to his repertoire as well.
I think I saw him working the ticket booth earlier. Not 100% sure. Might have to.
I saw him dishing out popcorn during halftime.
Did you get some of it?
No, I didn't get any. If it doesn't have sugar sprinkled on top of it, I don't want it.
Oh, you're a sugar on top of popcorn kind of guy?
I'm a kettle corn man myself. Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. So what about the big kettle jugs with 3 different types of popcorn? The butter, the white cheddar, and the whatever it may be.
I've got a terrible sweet tooth, so I go for the caramel.
Looks like it's going to be a sweet tooth for the run game now as Wiley bounced to the outside. Gain of 11, pushed out of bounds by a host of Cougars. It's going to be on the dual tackle, Jacob Bly as well as Cargill Brown.
Yeah, the initial contact was made by his own teammate, though. Number 10, Samir Johnson, kind of obstructed the running path and allowed the Cougar defense to catch up to him. Otherwise, it might have been for much more.
Either way, it will move the sticks and continue the drive. 1st down and 10 after the 11-yard rush. They get it to Wiley again. Wiley, however, is stuffed after gaining 1 and ain't going to get more than that. Another swarm of black and Carolina blue. Tackle led by LaCorian Hodge once more. They'll give him a yard, make it 2nd down and 9. Knocking on the door Seguin territory with 7.5 left to go in the 3rd quarter of play. Important to note that it's the only Thursday night game in the district. As they hand it to Wiley yet again. Wiley gets crushed yet again. But not before he can get to the 45, a gain of 2. As we're looking to see at the bottom of the pile, I have a theory, though, as to who made the tackle. And it's a kid who's coming up pretty slow. That's LaCorian Hodge. I think he might have got hit in the gonads there. Oh, boy. And he's still on the field. Colleyville setting up for their next offensive play. 3rd and 7 coming up here. Rolling out. Looking. Throw. It's caught in the flat. Complete. Move the chains. 1st down, Colleyville.
First time we've called Cash McMahon's number tonight. And number 16 is able to move the sticks into plus territory for the Panthers.
How about that? Continue the drive. Great field awareness. Seguin caught slipping there. as Hobbs was recovering after getting a hit in the no-no zone earlier in the previous play. Handoff to Wiley. Wiley with a lane up the middle. Along the left hash. Knocks on the door with a 30. Ball comes out, but he's already down. Another first down. Gain of 14. Colleyville's offense now moving with a purpose as an official's timeout as Wiley is a bit slow to get up. And as they treat him, we'll give our sponsors a chance at a message. Back after this from the ASN Family Platforms, this is Cougars Football. Wiley escorted off of the field under his own power as he gets treated on the sideline at the scores table. It's going to be interesting to see if or when he comes back into this one. Zach, during the break, you had a fantastic point about the Seguin defense.
Yeah, right now, aside from this particular tackle right here for a modest pickup of 1 or 2, everything that I'm seeing on important down and distances is the linebacking core in particular overcommitting to whatever their designed pursuit is. And there was one particular play on the other side of the field where you brought both linebackers up the middle and they just threw it on a drag route behind them.
Here's 2nd and 9. Weaver dropping back, looking's got a man along the numbers at the 20, pushing through into the Seguin red zone. Gain of 13 is going to move the sticks again. This Colleyville Heritage offense in this third quarter, during this drive at least, it's looking like a completely different ball club, Zach. They are moving up the field with a purpose without fantastic or perfect field position to begin the drive.
As far as locker room conversations go, the adjustments are very much in Colleyville Heritage's favor right now.
It's going to be a handoff. Right along the numbers. Open field. Dives. End zone. He's in. Touchdown, Colleyville. 19-yard touchdown rush. Abram does it again. His first time into the end zone. He's been a great running back so far in short yardage situations, Zach, but now 19 yards, getting on the board again for 6 more for Colleyville Heritage, and they have the lead.
He comes in place of the shaken up Jared Wiley, and the running attack doesn't miss a beat. A great hole, a great job running through it, and just like that, we've gone from a 14-7 Seguin lead to a 21-14 deficit. The next 17 minutes of gameplay are going to be wild. Stick with us here at Wildman Field for more football on the ASN.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Everywhere I bring Zach Arnold, especially for AISD games, they just turn out to be fantastic games. No matter how slow they start, tonight's game here at Wellman, yet another testament. 19-yard touchdown run for Colleyville gives them, I guess you could call this a commanding lead in a game that really hasn't seen anyone take full advantage. But with 5:37 left, Colleyville ready to kick things off. Seguin with an opportunity to respond. Booming kick. It's going to be taken at around the 2 by Mesh. Mesh gets across the left, doesn't have much room, wiggles through and gets to around the 22. Too many rhyming words there. As we take another look at that big touchdown run that gave Colleyville their current advantage of 21-14.
Yeah, and what you're going to see is the left-hand side of Colleyville's offensive line putting a hat on a hat. And that's all that you can ask for as you see number 55 again going downfield a few yards. Parker Leatherwood, I love that name, and I love getting to call out the Hog Mollies up front. They do some great downfield blocking, and then you just see number 21, Bryce Abram, do the rest.
Another look at that 19-yard touchdown, and all of our instant replays provided by ScoreScope. The UIL recently allowing replay technology for press boxes to coaches across the state. Get your program in the game with ScoreScope, official replay provider of the Antler Sports Network. 5:29 left to go.
Jared, there's never been more than a 7-point difference in this ballgame. From when it was 7-0 to 21-14 now, it is still anyone's ballgame.
A little bit of a miscommunication there. Deshaun Maribel was in motion. A little too far in motion. And that flag is going to...
This is not the indoor football league, young man.
However, I mean, that motion has been there pretty much all game for Seguin. It has. It's opened up the Colleyville defense, at least in the first quarter, that I can recall immediately. Took Arterius Brown getting 3 catches pretty much in a row in the flat.
It did.
So,
and since then, he's been rather quiet.
Indeed, he has.
He's only got 1 drop, though, so pretty much every time you've targeted him, he's been able to haul it in. Unfortunately, it hasn't been for any big gains yet.
Still plenty of time to change that, though. They get it to him on the screen. Not a good block there by Maribel. He's hosted by 2 Panthers. Flag is thrown mid-play. Possibly back-to-back penalties on Seguin.
That one came from the side judge, Gennard Griggs, about 15, 20 yards away from the play.
And it looks like this is going to be against Seguin, as the white hat Joe Horn going over to Coach Jerry Edwards to discuss the penalty.
He's going to ask him, do you want to decline it and force the field position? Because this was a bit of a tackle for loss.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it's a sideline warning.
Wow, how about that? Okay. So either way, it's going to be a loss. It's still going to be second down. And 14 to go now, with 5:14 left to go in quarter number 3. Andrews fakes the handoff, striding down the field. He's got Brown. Caught! No, he fumbled it. Couldn't haul it in. Golly, Zach, you did it again.
I just talked about how he only had 1 drop. Every time you throw it to him, he hauls it in. And then what happens? A case of the popcorn butterfingers in and out of his fingertips. Could have been for 6. He had his man beat.
Oh, my word. A picture-perfect opportunity. Brown absolutely blazed down the field. Was wide open. It would have easily been 6 sacks.
It's the first time we've seen him on a go route. Everything else in this ballgame has been underneath. I really hope they go back to that at some point.
Looks like they just might. Andrews spins, flush to his left, throws on the runs, got a man across the middle. It's incomplete, but a flag is thrown. Flag is on around the line of scrimmage. Yep, this could be a hold. It's in the region of holding.
That is the signal. But with the incompletion, I would imagine this will just be 4th down.
Yeah, understandably so. I would decline this thing and force Seguin to kick it away. As we see Bodie Weaver getting a couple extra snaps on the sideline. Also to note, as the penalty gets announced, for Colleyville Heritage, Gerard Wiley is sitting down on the Colleyville bench. He's back up walking around.
He's got his helmet.
Yeah, don't know if he's going to try to put it on or not. Now as Lopez gets ready for this 4th and 14, Wiley might, I don't know if he's walking pretty gingerly or not, as this is a line drive kick sailing through the Arlington sky. Takes a solid bounce across the 40. Jumping over it is going to be Javion Hughes, and they'll mark it down at the 44-yard line, the 34-yard line, excuse me. 1st and 10 for Colleyville Heritage. As we're looking to see if Wiley, I don't see him. No, he's still on that left part of the sideline. So won't be coming in for this series.
It'll be Bryce Abram that will be on the hip of Weaver. to start this possession. And Jared, in my estimation, this could be the most important possession of the ball game. It's always been just a 7-point difference. The Panthers have a chance to make it a 2-possession ball game here with this drive.
4:44 left to go in quarter number 3. Ball on the 34. They hand it off. Abrams. Abrams gets nowhere at all. The Seguin defensive front stout yet again. Gain of maybe a yard. Yep, they're going to give him 1 yard there. 2nd down and 9 for Colleyville. After this contest, the Panthers have a date with the Jaguars of Mansfield Summit in district play. And after this game, on the 24th of October, the Seguin Cougars will travel to Everman to take on the Bulldogs. And I don't know, looks like now Wiley has a bit of pep in his step, might be coming in an upcoming series as Abrams goes left, now goes back to his right, across the hash. Are they going to give him the first down? No, they'll mark him a yard short. Gain of 8, a manageable 3rd and 1 coming up.
Jared, this young man's name brings up a lively debate that takes place here in the city of Arlington. There is a road that goes right by City Hall, pretty close to Main Street, that is called Abram, Abram Street. And yet there's a lot of locals that'll throw an S on the end of it and call it Abrams.
I am that local.
There are a lot of contested debates on what the pronunciation is supposed to be, but I'm in that camp that when you drive by, you see that there is no S. It is Abram Street, and people just kind of blend the S's together, and it becomes Abrams.
Well, maybe Colleyville might have been confused at the pronunciation as well, as Coach Edwards and company wants to talk things over. As we debate Abram and Abrams, we'll give our sponsors a chance at a message. Back in 30 seconds, 21-14 Colleyville on ASN 1.
I'm Tori Kennedy, and this is my sister,
Issa Gilmore.
and it pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
My favorite part about subbing is just the different types of experiences you get. Getting to work with different age groups really let me experience working with younger kids and older kids and kind of figure out where I wanted to work.
I felt like it was really good experience just to kind of be on my own in the classroom and being able to get that teaching experience that I would use later on in my career. It pays to sub in Arlington ISD.
Colleyville wanted to talk things over on this all-important 3rd down. Our own Zachariano said this is arguably the most important drive of the game. Let's see what the Panthers have in store. Man in motion. Weaver in the gun. Fakes a handoff. Rolls out to his right. Has space. Throws. One-on-one coverage. Incomplete. Flag is thrown. If you're a Seguin fan here at Waldman, you were simply holding your breath, hoping that the official wouldn't throw the hanky, and Zachy indeed does as we take a look at that again.
It's great blocking by the Colleyville offensive line. There are at least 2 or 3 backers that are coming up the middle, and the play is designed, I believe, for Weaver to be able to roll away from that pressure. I admit that throw was kind of off balance. That probably wasn't the intention, but you can't argue with the results. You get the pass interference, you get the first down, you get the ball into plus territory.
Oh boy, so the most important drive of the game for Colleyville continues with 3:12 left to go in the 3rd. This game might end up being who has the football last, but it all depends on this drive here. Handoff again is going to be to Abram. No S, but he does have 15 yards and a tough first down. Move the chains, Colleyville advancing the sticks again.
Whatever Wheaties they gave to the offensive line in the locker room, it is working. There's almost no pursuit by Seguin's front 7, no matter what people they bring in from which direction. And again, a big chunk play that Colleyville was not able to get in the first half. They are getting it here in this 3rd quarter.
His name might not have an S, but Abrams moving like an Abrams tank tonight in the backfield. 240 and counting. First down and 10 after the 15-yard rush. They get it to the tank again. Jumps through, gets about 4 yards, goes airborne. Okay, that's one way to get yardage.
That is probably some of the hardest earned 4 yards you're ever going to see as he takes it to the right-hand side. And, you know, when somebody is churning the legs as well as he has the last few plays, take his legs away from him.
I guess by dolphin diving. All right. Gain of 4. Going to make it 2nd down and 6 for Colleyville Heritage. Weaver glanced at the sideline. He's got 7 seconds to get the play off. He's got 4 out wide, 1 alone at the top of your screen. Abram the back. Misdirection to him. Breaks the first tackle. Flag is thrown. And yep, you are signaling face mask, Mr. Arnold, and it's hard to disagree with you there. We take another look here to try to get the specific perpetrator. As a run by Abram. Yep, there it is. Looks like that's going to be against number 19, Preston Randall.
And another drive where it gets extended by penalties. They are plaguing the Cougars tonight, either stopping drives on offense or extending drives on the defensive side of the ball.
Minute 48 left. That penalty will make it 1st and goal. Right at the 10. Clock still rolling. Minute 40. Looks like that's Wiley back onto the field. Yes, it is. Seems to be all right. Ready to try to punch this thing in. Weaver steps up. Jump throw. Back of the end zone. Turf Monster got him incomplete. My goodness.
Number 5, Luke Graves, was wide open. Not a player around him for a good 6 or 7 yards. And as you mentioned, that turf monster that lives just beneath the surface here at Wildman got to him there. It'll force a 2nd and goal.
The turf monster anti-Panther tonight, at least for that last play. Huge sigh of relief by the Seguin defense. Minute 28 left to go. 2nd and goal from the 9. Wiley looking, dropped back at the 15. Just about at the 15. They'll mock him at the 14.
You'll take your victories where you can get them, Jared, but they're still well within field goal range. And the way that the offense has been playing so far tonight, I don't know if a 10-point swing with 13 minutes of gameplay left is in the cards for the Cougars tonight.
It's going to take something special. If there's any offense that I wouldn't put it past, Zach, it would be this offense. Weaver, throw back in the end zone, incomplete. Tenderford Johnson, some fans wanting a penalty as we take a second look here. I'm not too sure with 51 seconds left if that could really constitute a penalty there. A lot of contact between both receiver and defensive back.
Yeah, when both sides are pushing against each other, it's mutual contact. Both players have an opportunity to make a play on the ball and on each other.
High snap, field goal, high kick, very high kick, not of the head from the official, and it's good. Colleyville Heritage strikes again. Here comes that 10-point swing. How will the Cougars respond? We'll find out in just a moment. 47 seconds left in the 3rd. 24-14, Panthers up on the road. Colleyville Heritage striking again, this time by way of the 3-point field goal try. That gives our current score 47 seconds left. 24-14, Panthers up here at Waltman Field. Jared Jones, Zach Arnold, happy to be with you yet again for another presentation of Seguin Cougars football on the Antler Sports Network. Colleyville ready to kick things away yet again. Mesh back deep to receive. Very shallow return. Heels right at about the 19, well, the 20 to 22 yard line as he keeps trying to step up. And now they retreat back. High arcing kick, fair catch is caught by Mesh. At around the 2. But new kickoff rule, of course, will move it up to the 25.
Yeah, it's intended to advocate for player safety. If they make that fair catch inside of the 25, it'll come out to the 25. I understand it. Doesn't necessarily mean I have to agree with it.
I mean, you've been, in our last broadcast, you were very vocal about the NFL's new kickoff rules and how they've affected the game and how you could possibly see a similar rule in the high school game.
I've talked to coaches here in Arlington ISD about that very thing, and they seem to be of the belief that it's only a matter of time. You want some big explosive kickoff type plays like we saw Colleyville do in the beginning of this third quarter, and I think that new XFL style kickoff rule is just the ticket.
Dump off pass is going to be complete to Xavier Cole. First time we've set the sophomore's name tonight. Excuse me, that's Marble on the catch from Andrews. Solid gain of about 6 or so. Yep. 2nd down and 4 coming up for Seguin. Andrews under center in the eye. Brown. Trotter out wide. Jukes. Gets a great block. Throws on the run into the flat. It's caught. And he's got the foot down. At least from our view, he hauled that thing in. Oh, my.
There's a couple of Panthers on the near side that would disagree with you, Jerry, but it's a great job coming back to your quarterback, coming back to the football. That's not the intended play call, but Carterius Brown with good heads-up football IQ, knowing that his quarterback is on the run, comes back, makes the catch, gets the first down.
That foot's in bounds, Zach. Move the chains. Big-time play. 1st and 10 coming up on the 49. Seguin on their own 49. 33 seconds left after the big-time play. Andrews steps up in the pocket. Flag is thrown. Breaks an ankle and gets his own wrapped up on the tackle. But another penalty thrown in the area of holding. Here goes Josh Benke onto the field, not happy at all. We wait on the official word from referee Joe Horn. Yep, holding penalty called against Seguin. Push him back 10. So now, 1st and 20 coming up for Seguin. Thankfully, it's only 1st down, but it's still 20 yards.
Yeah, but Jared, by my math, we're pushing 80-plus yards of penalty yardage field position. They've gone almost the length of the football in penalty yards tonight.
Man. 26 seconds left. Low snap to Andrews. Andrews throws complete to Mesh, but Mesh is crushed at the line of scrimmage. Clock will continue to roll. They'll give him a loss at 2. It's going to be 2nd and 22, going farther and farther back into their own territory.
Yeah, number 38, Darian Lloyd, the senior linebacker for Heritage, sniffed that play out and was able to collapse on Mesh as soon as he made the catch. And that'll be how the third quarter comes to a close.
My, oh my, Zachary Arnold. This has been a game. Playoff host. Only 12 minutes away from being fulfilled. That's the end of quarter number 3. 4th quarter is coming up after this. From the ASN family of platforms, this is Seguin Cougars football.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Both bands rocking here at Wildman Field as we start the 4th. Seguin, 12 minutes to control their destiny. Only thing that separates them from that goal, 22 yards and a fresh set of downs. 2nd down and 22 to go. Game pretty much on the line here in this drive for the Cougars. Man in motion for Andrews in an empty backfield. It's going to be a bubble to Brown. Brown jukes up the field. Hit it about the 41. Gets to the 42. Gain of 5. I don't know. Third and around 16 to go. Barring the official spot, Zach. A bubble screen on 3rd and long, especially when the main goal of that play is to try to get Brown open field after that first move. But Colleyville's been fantastic in the open field tackling, Seguin.
Good open field closing speed. Not the best downfield blocking by the offensive linemen that were sent out there to cover for Brown. There's only so much you can do when you've got 5 or 6 bodies crowding around you on that far side of the field.
Andrews looking to go deep here. Steps up. He's going to take it himself. He stiff arms. Brought down at the 45. 4th down. Gain of 3. Now, if you're Seguin.
Units coming out.
Oh, boy. Short gain. It was a gain of 3. It's 4th and 13. And yep, this is the punting unit onto the field as Oscar Lopez is ready to boot things away. Coach Gordon and company trusting that defense. And if you're going to trust them, go for it all the way. High snap. Lopez running start. High kicks. Sailing through the air. Not a lot of rotation. It bounced back the other way. Still going. And it will be down at the 39-yard line. 1st and 10 coming up for Colleyville Heritage with 10:24, all the momentum in the world, Zach. You'd have to think they're thinking dagger.
Oh, absolutely. And the way that their rushing attack has been this second half, I would not be surprised to see either Abram or Wiley get it in this situation because they've been averaging anywhere from 8 to 12 yards per rush thanks to some good downfield blocking. And not only does that help you move the chains, but it also helps you melt the clock.
The senior, Abram, is onto the field now. 3 out wide, 1 on the slot. Lone receiver at the bottom of your screen is Nicholas Wakombi. Man in motion. It's the tight end, Blake Wendler. Weaver dropping back. He's got a man. Middle. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. Weaver watching one downfield between the hatches and the numbers. Big time gain. 1st down, Colleyville.
That's easily the biggest pass of the night. Weaver had not had great numbers in the first half, had been very pedestrian and going underneath, and all of that building up for one big play that flips the field.
Gain of 36 with 10 minutes and counting left. They hand it to Wiley. Wiley laying up the B gap to the left side, but it gets tackled down. Big time hit there by guess who? LaCorian Hodge does it again. Give me a nickel every time he's got a tackle today. I'd have enough nickels to wash my laundry for a month, for whatever that's worth. Haven't been to a laundromat in a while.
I was about to say, you still go to a laundromat?
Hey, don't judge me. 9.5 left to go. Laundromat feelings aside.
It's a great place to people watch. I don't know how clean my clothes get, though.
So far, this Colleyville offense has been pretty clean. Like they just came out of the cleaners. 9:18 left to go. Weaver drops back. Already has a big play. It's going to be tipped and almost thought it was going to be picked off. Oh, boy. Holy smokes. Big play opportunity there. Thankfully, it does just fall incomplete. 3rd and 9 coming up as we take another look.
Yeah, number 10, Jacoby Perkins was in the right place at the right time. He was just a little bit off his balance. If he's able to reel that in, he had a lot of open space down that far sideline.
Sure did. 9:13 left. 3rd and 9 after the incompletion. Colleyville on the Seguin 24. Fakes the handoff. Looking. Tackle! Down he goes. Domino slamming Domino on that sack. How about that? Seguin needed a big play on defense, Zach, and they got it. It's 4th down and long in no man's land.
Yeah, this is way too far for a field goal attempt, but if you punt here, all it's going to give you is maybe 11 yards of field position if it ends up in the end zone. You're talking about dagger. This is a very gutsy call, but if you get it, then it is definitely a dagger play. They're not lining up for it, though. I think they're going to talk about it here.
Loss of 7. It's Coach Jeremy Edwards talking to the official. We'll take the delay of game. Looks like trying to maybe set up a much easier punt.
Hey, if I'm Coach Gordon, I decline that penalty. You can technically decline.
Yes, you can.
A delay of game. I think this may be a timeout. Teams are huddling.
No, it's a delay of game penalty called against Colleyville. Coach Joe Gordon walking over to the line judge, Clint McKeever.
It will go from the 31 to the 36. Man, see, if I'm playing NCAA 25 and some team tries to do that against me, I'm saying decline.
You're not letting that slide.
Fight me like a man.
8:20, clock rolling. Punt team on the field for Colleyville, looking to try to pin the Cougars back deep. Angle to the right, takes a bounce into the end zone, touchback.
See, that's only 16 yards difference of field position. To me, that's hardly worth it.
Let's take another look at that sack from Domino that pretty much gave Seguin another chance at life here in this game.
Yeah, you'll see him lining up on the right-hand side of the defensive line there. Great pursuit, just beats his man on a sidestep and gets what could be one of the biggest tackles for the defense in this ball game.
8:07 left to go. Ball's on the 25 after the touchback. Ball's on the 20, after the touchback. Colleyville, 2 timeouts. Seguin with all 3. Andrews with a single back. 4 out wide. Drops back. Looking to go deep. Steps up. Has a lane. He's going to take it himself. Jukes to the right. Now to the left. Manziel style at the 35, 40, 45. Knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Big time gain. Move the chains once more.
Andrews has been the biggest surprise for the running game, and I don't think it was something that Colleyville Heritage was able to see on film. It's not something that he's necessarily known for. He's an elusive quarterback for sure, but this downfield running is something that I don't feel like their secondary's been prepared for.
Gain of 25 coming up. 1st and 10. Throw. It's caught. No, it's bobbled incomplete. Pass intended for Jimani Smith. Colleyville might have been a fingertip away from picking that football off and changing this game.
There's already 1 turnover off of that fumble in the first quarter. So far, that's been the only actual statistical turnover in this game. That would have been a game ender.
Flag is thrown pre-snap. Colleyville pointing towards the Seguin sideline. It's going to be a false start penalty again. Called against Seguin.
Going back behind the sticks.
That's a loss of a nickel. 2nd and 15 coming up with 7:51 left to go in this final period. Seguin down 10. All 3 of their timeouts in tow. Zach, I said it during the break for Seguin. It's time to put up or shut up. Biggest drive of the season right here. Andrews drops back. Pressure. Jump throw. Incomplete along the Seguin sideline. Intended for Mesh. 3rd down and a country mile coming up after the incompletion.
And he was lucky that Mesh was in the vicinity. He had a defender in his face and was still inside of the tackle box. Even if you get it across the line of scrimmage, which he barely did, you still need to have a receiver in the vicinity. He's lucky that Mesh was over that way.
Demarius Logan, the defensive lineman, was able to take away that left side of the field for Andrews. That pretty much forced that incompletion. 7:45 left. Andrews drops back, steps up again. Jump throw is incomplete. Intended for Bowman Hunt. And now that brings up 4th and 15. 4th and long again for Seguin. The offense is stalled out.
Penalty yards killing the Cougars in this ball game. Stalling drives on offense and extending drives on defense. I'll have to take a look at the final numbers when we do the post-game show, but I would bet money that we are very, very close to the century mark in penalty yardage, and you just can't give up an entire football field on yellow flags.
Lopez and the punt team is back. Bobbles it, runs, boots it away. This gets a solid roll, 2 to the 25, 4, 3, and the 2. Yep, it's on the 22-yard line. It's really best case scenario here. However, you do give Colleyville Heritage the football back again. This time with just less time to work with. You're under 7.5 minutes. You do have all 3 timeouts, and you got a big 4 and out, and was able to force Colleyville to punt it inside of the red zone. originally inside of the red zone after they took a delay game penalty and forced a touchback. Then you go 4 and out, and now your defense is back on the field after a pretty quick drive.
And I'm still not upset at the way the defense is playing. Colleyville averages 30-plus points per game. They're only at 24 right now. They're actually technically below average. But this defense has to be getting tired.
Weaver, swing throw, is bottled up immediately. Caught by Abram. Abram, host of Cougars on the hit. Guess who was in there, Zach? Take a wild guess.
I'm going to say it was either... I'm going to say it was Domino.
It was Domino and Hodge both. They have been flying around the field. Massive loss. Loss of 8. Second in a country mile now for Colleyville Heritage. So far, they've thrown an interception in every game except for their 10-0 win over Timberview back on the 20th of September. It's going to be a run. Open is Abram. Abram rolls at the 30. First down. No, they'll mark him short.
It goes from 2nd and 18 to 3rd and about 3. That's a big pickup on the draw play and makes it a much more manageable down and distance.
Gain of 15 is going to make it a 3rd and 3. Big play coming up for the Panthers.
I think everybody in the stadium knows what this play call is going to be. It's going to be down to fundamentals.
It's going to be trench warfare. Handoff. Punches through. Did he get there?
No.
No, he's short a yard. Seguin's defense holds firm. No gain. 4th and 3 coming up. We said it was going to be a trench war. Seguin won that one. Their defense shows up again no matter how tired they are. These kids are pushing.
Pushing hard and pushing back and pushing enough to force the punt. But it does take about 2 minutes of game clock off, and every second is precious.
Jacob Bly is technically back deep. Seguin looking to try to block this thing, and they almost do. Line drive kick. The clock will continue to roll, but no, it bounces out of bounds at around the 31-32 yard line. So now Seguin will take over 1st down and 10, pretty much where they started their last drive. Hopefully, Zach, trying to get a different result, because right now, this is it. If you don't score on this drive, the math just doesn't seem to add up.
No, and they haven't gone back to that deep attempt to Brown, even though he was open, the one that bobbled in and out of his fingertips. This is that type of time left on the clock when you probably need to dial up something like that. Maybe a pump fake, maybe a wheel route, but you need something to get behind this defense instead of playing in front of them. You've tried that all ball game, and it's only netted you 14 points. It's time to get a little bolder.
One thing we do know about this coaching staff, they're not afraid to make gutsy play calls. We've seen them make gutsy decisions all year long. No time like the present, though. 5:18 left. Andrews in the gun. Drops back, looking to his right. Steps up in the pocket. Now rolls out. Flushed out to the left side on the left hash. At the 40. Jukes around. Gets to the 45. Has a block out around midfield. Bounce out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. It will move the chains. Gain of 15. Again, Andrews does it with his legs. And more importantly, Zach, stops the clock at 5:08.
Yeah, and that's a good scramble, but it's a coverage scramble. You've heard of a coverage sack, but this is just a coverage scramble by Andrews as he gets away from the first line of defense but doesn't find a hole in the secondary to be able to pass it to. I've been very impressed with this Colleyville Heritage secondary so far tonight. Haven't given Andrews very many lanes, so he has to make it happen with his feet.
Colleyville showing they're bringing heat. They get it to Brown, and he gets out of bounds. Gain of 10 along the flat again.
This is 2-minute offense happening with 5:03 to go in the game. You still have all of your timeouts, but you want to attack those sidelines as best you can so you can preserve those stoppages of play on the defensive side of the ball.
As Brown on the gain of 11 makes it 1st and 10 with 5:03. Clock is stopped. Mesh will now rotate out. It's Mesh, Peeler, Brown as well as Preston Randall. The receivers. Andrews blitzed, balled up. He's still loose. Throw. It's complete. Steps out of bounds.
How did he do that?
This kid's a wizard. How? How did he get out of that? We take another look here. You lose him in the instant replay, just finds a way to weasel his way out. Not only make a complete pass, but a pass out of bounds.
With a magical move like that, he may be getting a letter from Hogwarts soon.
Man, gain of 3 on that. Pass complete to Mesh. Andrews dropping back. Throw across the middle. It's caught. And immediately getting drilled after catching it is Smith. Smith, however, will stop the clock momentarily to move the chains. First down and 10, Seguin.
They're playing with a sense of urgency that we haven't seen very much of in this second half. I wish that we had seen a little bit more of it over the past couple of possessions. This is some very, very good movement of the football. I just worry it might be too little too late.
I don't know. Still a good amount of chunk of change left on the clock. 4.5 now and still counting, though. Andrews has Smith as his back. Smith in the block. Andrews steps up. Lines up. Gets brought down. Loss of 5. Logan on the TFL. And that might be the play that Colleyville needed. Loss of 3, check that, makes it 2nd and 13.
Clock approaches exactly 4 minutes to go as it continues to roll. It's not a huge loss, but you do lose time and a little bit of field position. I think you're lamenting the loss of seconds more than field position right now.
Indeed you are. Expect them to try to go deep here, and they just may with Andrews. Andrews looking, winds up, lays it out there. Did he catch it? Is it picked? I think Colleyville might have picked it off. It's intercepted. But flag is thrown around the line of scrimmage. As we take another look, it's the guy that's been on Brown pretty much all evening long. It's West. My goodness. Holding penalty called against Seguin. The INT will stand. It's Colleyville football. Into the end zone, so it will be a touchback. Wow.
I love the play call, though.
You have to.
I love the play call. It's gutsy, it's aggressive, it's impressive. You have to in those certain situations. And
no, wait. They're waving the INT off. It's going to be Seguin ball again. This time, it's going to be first down and about 20 plus to go. Second down and 24.
So they're enforcing the hold?
All right. Let's see. 334. Andrews looking to go deep again. Steps up. Pressure. Knocked down as he throws.
That may be one of the most interesting and controversial decisions I have ever seen at any level of football. You get the ball back. It's listed as an interception, and you choose to play field position. You are betting that if you back Seguin up and force a turnover on downs, you get it at the 40 instead of a touchback at the 20.
Okay. Wow. After the incompletion, 3rd and long. Andrews, it's got to get rid of it. He does it. TFL Demarius Logan does it again.
And it's just taking too long for these plays to develop. We've been talking about the coverage scrambles that he's been able to do, but when he sets up to throw, he's waiting for a break in the defense, for a receiver to get away from his man, hoping for something to develop, and it just doesn't. This is a coverage sack in the purest of forms, and unfortunately, it's going to come at somebody's expense as number 74.
That's Jackson Harris,
for
a
the
sophomore.
Cougars. Harris struggling to get up. 4th and basically 1/4 of the football field coming up. as Seguin's season hangs in the balance.
It's looking like that Colleyville Heritage decision
is going to pay off.
It's going to pay off.
Instead of taking it on the turnover at the 20, the ball is now resting near midfield. And if they don't convert this 4th and forever, that is almost a 30-yard swing in field position by accepting the holding penalty and declining the turnover. I have never seen anything like that. It is one of the most ridiculous and yet amazing strategies I have seen from a coaching staff.
Go big or go home. That's the easiest you can put it.
I haven't done very many broadcasts with you, sir, but I think it's safe to say that when a play leaves you speechless, that's a pretty rare circumstance.
When you break it down, it sounds completely asinine. But in practice, it's working perfectly. Empty backfield for Andrews. Colleyville got to send heat. Sets back. Andrews ain't getting out of this one. Knocked out at the 45. Turnover on downs. 2:55 left. Host of Colleyville Heritage Panthers on the TFL
on 4-man pressure. That is 4 Colleyville linemen against 5 Seguin linemen, and they still get to the quarterback. And with the ball at the 45 on the other side,
that's even better field position.
That is a 10, 20, 35-yard swing in field position by accepting that holding penalty.
Maybe we're the idiots here.
I have no idea, man.
Maybe we don't know the game
that's
of football.
That's why we're in the booth and they're on the sidelines.
That's why we wear these headsets.
Exactly.
The broadcast headsets. Wow. Just wow. 2:52 left to go. However, Seguin has all their timeouts. Abram gets wrestled down
by the neck.
Don't see a horse collar penalty flag thrown, but he does get out of bounds and a bit slow to get up.
That's in that weird no man's land where you're not necessarily grabbing them by the horse collar, but you're also not grabbing the face mask either. I believe that was in the neck region.
And as he gets treated to, we'll take a break for the injury. 24-14, 2:46 left to go in the 4th. This coverage of Seguin Cougars football continues after this. After the injury timeout, Colleyville Heritage back onto the field, this time at running back and getting the first down on the gain of 1 on his first touch, Tyrese McKenzie's. Listed as a quarterback, gets arguably the most important first down of the game. And now Seguin is going to take timeout, but we will keep it here. We're sitting in the break, trying to articulate.
There's just not the right adjective. We came up with about 24 of them. Mystified, bamboozled,
befuddled, frazzled,
confused, surprised,
shocked.
It's just, it is one of the boldest strategies that I have ever heard of. And the fact that you would trust your defense enough to go back out there and get the stop you're looking for, it speaks so much to how much you trust your defense. and they go out and deliver. Like, you go out there and you say as a coach, I trust you to go get this done. I'm going to take away the big play. I'm going to take away the interception. I'm going to take away a highlight reel turnover. And you go out there and go win me the football game, and they're 223 away from possibly doing that. 35-yard swing.
It seems Madden-esque. First down carry. Going through is McKenzie. And he might gain nada, and Seguin will lose their second timeout. They have one remaining after no gain on the run for Colleyville Heritage. And now,
do you run another play? Takes it down to about 2:10. You run one more play. We'll say that play goes until 2 minutes. Play clock is anywhere from 25 to 30 seconds or so. If they run it all the way down and then punt it away, Seguin will get it back with a ballpark of 1:20 to 1:30.
Almost a minute and a half.
But they would need a score and an onside kick and another score in 90 seconds. Stranger things have happened at the high school football level, but their backs are definitely against the wall.
Stranger things have happened in this quarter, Zach. We've
have.
seen a rejected pick end up in a 35-yard swing. Carry. Open field is Abram. Abram pushes. Isn't going to get the first down, but pretty darn close. Gain of 7 will make it 3rd and 3. No whistle blown.
There it is.
There it is, yep.
About 7 or 8 seconds too late.
And Seguin will take their final timeout.
Most important 2 yards of the ball game.
Wow. I don't think it would be right to go to break. Because wow.
It's worth noting, it was 14-7 at the half.
It was 7-7 at the end of the first.
Scoreless.
Scoreless at the end of the first. Check that.
Scoreless at the end of the first. 14-7 at the break. Since then, it has been 17-0 Heritage here in the second half. Whatever kind of adjustments they made in the locker room, it worked.
In a cat fight between the Panthers and the Cougars, the Panthers arguably had the greatest halftime speech I think we will never hear. As on the carry, again pushing through. That's the first down and more.
That'll do it.
And that will indeed do it. The tank, Bryce Abram, the senior, listed as a defensive back, doing the dirty work in the trenches tonight. It's 1st and 10 with 1:45 and counting left. Seguin has no timeouts. Colleyville Heritage has 2, but fair to say, Zach, they ain't using them anytime soon.
They have no need to. They had a great second half adjustment. Took care of the ball. No turnovers. And now get to just take a knee and improve to 4-1 in district, 5-2 on the season. They maintain that 3rd position in the district standings, controlling their own destiny, but they move one big step closer to the postseason here tonight.
And after this minute elapses, we'll try to get into some possible playoff breakdowns as well as try to make sense of the 2.5 hours of football we've sat and endured. One more knee will most likely do it.
Depends on when they start the play clock.
As Coach Jeremy Edwards embraces his staff on the sideline. One more knee. And that is it. Colleyville in a game that has left you, myself, and probably anyone watching utterly speechless. Our final at Wildman, Colleyville 24, Seguin 14. We'll take a 3-minute break. Give us a chance to catch our breath and try to figure out if we still have operating brains or not. After that, we'll look over stats, playoff scenarios, and much more. But first, a 3-minute break. Seguin football on the Antler Sports Network continues after this.
Find your support system. At Texas Wesleyan, you'll get the one-on-one attention you need to succeed. Texas Wesleyan, small classes, big scholarships. Now that's smaller, smarter.
Final once again in Wildman. Colleyville Heritage comes away with a road district big-time win by a score of 24-14. Spoiling pink-out night here for Seguin. We'll get to statistics a little bit later on in the postgame show. But myself and Zach Arnold will try to break down at least where the playoffs stand. It was Argyle, Summit, Colleyville, and Seguin in the 1 through 4 spot respectively. With a win tonight, Colleyville Heritage moves to 5-2 on the year, 4-1 in district. Seguin moves to 5-3 overall, 3-3, even 500 in district play. And the standings pretty much stay. Now, that all depends, of course, Zach, on what happens tomorrow night between Argyle and Mansfield Summit at R.L. Anderson Stadium. Probably going to be for the district championship, fair to say.
The de facto district title, and then, as you mentioned during the pregame show, there is a lot of different teams that are in contention for those 2 spots that come after them. Seguin will fall to 3-3. Burleson is 2-2. Timberview is 2-3. You take a look at Heritage now 4-1. There's a lot of wiggle room in that 2 through 4 area here in this district. And even though we don't have the win and in scenario anymore, there is still a lot of mathematics that gives Seguin an opportunity at one of those top 4 spots.
There definitely is. The main kicker is probably going to be against Burleson, who Seguin already defeated back in week 3, 39-7, back on the 12th of September. Another de facto team to keep in mind is Mansfield Timberview. They're tied with Burleson in district play at 2-3. And we all remember what happened when these two teams faced off. It was a 38-24 victory for Timberview at this very stadium.
It was.
So, honestly, it all depends on how Colleyville plays out. They already lost to Argyle, 42-35. But the question is, that Mansfield Summit game, the very next week, is going to be the tell-all. At least for Seguin, because Seguin plays Summit the very last game of the season. That game, of course, the Battle of Matlock Row will be right here on ASN1. So Seguin might be looking at possibly going down to the wire for their playoff hopes.
Well, and what's interesting, Jared, is if Summit is able to beat Argyle and they have the district title in hand, there's not a whole lot for them to play for in that final week other than denying your rival an opportunity to go to the postseason. So Seguin definitely has a little bit more to play for when we're talking about that particular game, but to have Everman on your schedule is something that is to the Cougars' advantage. Everman all the way towards the bottom half of the district, 1-6 overall, 1-4 in district. Very good opportunity to pick up a win there. And then if the cards fall correctly and Heritage, say they lose to Summit and somehow end up faltering against Burleson, who is kind of in the middle of the pack there, then all of a sudden there's a lot more chaos in those final 2 spots in the district.
One thing to note is the sister district, the districts that will be matching up with District 3, ironically, is District 4. Predominantly in the northeastern part of the Metroplex, on the northeast part of 635, the Prosper, Frisco, McKinney area. At the top of that district right now is Prosper Walnut Grove. Arguably one of the best stories, a school that's only 3 or so years old and sitting at the top of what is a gauntlet of a district. You have Lovejoy in second and 4-0 in district play. Melissa and the Cardinals 3-1. Emerson, the Mavs 3-2, and are the defending state champions moving up this year from 4A at 2-2. Frisco Independence at 2-3. So no matter what, no matter how you shake it, whoever comes out of both of these districts at the 1 through 4 spots are going to be battle tested. They're going to be ready. The question is who plays who. And if you're Seguin, I feel like that Everman game is going to be the best arrow you have in the quiver.
Yeah.
If you can take down the Bulldogs, specifically on the road, get your momentum back, go into Wildman Field, a rivalry game. As you mentioned, Summit might not have a lot to play for compared to Seguin if they go at home tomorrow night against Argyle for the de facto district title.
Right.
If they win that game, so be it. But we've seen how contested these rivalry games can be, specifically between Mansfield and Arlington Independent School District teams. So it's going to be an interesting 24 to 48 hours of football in both districts, Districts 3 and 4.
Yeah, it's quite a tell about how much of a gauntlet this district is and the neighboring district when 4 has a 4A state champion now playing at the 5A level, and they are on the outside looking in for the postseason.
By a game.
By a full game. I mean, it's just so fascinating to look at those dynamics that when you go moving up from just one level, from 4A to 5A, it's a completely different skill set. It's a completely different level of talent. And if somebody like a defending state champion is on the outside looking in, just how much tougher is everybody else in this district?
Going to be interesting to see how things pan out. But here tonight at Wallman, Seguin falls 24-14. When we come back, we'll put look over stats, probably elect a player of the game or two for one team or both teams. And Zach and I will put a ball on tonight. But first, give our sponsors a chance at one last message. Seguin falls 24-14 against Colleyville Heritage. Back in 3 minutes on the Antler Sports Network. Here at the post game, Jared Jones, Zach Arnold here at Watman Field as things settled down after the Cougars fall at home on Pinkout 24-14. Zach, you have a player of the game for us tonight. Who do you got?
Well, I mean, we have to give credit where it's due. Even though Malachi Mesh had that big 51-yard run to put the Cougars in good field position, the most consistent player of the evening, in my opinion, is Heritage's number 21, Bryce Abram. 14 carries for 108 yards, an average of 7.7 yards per carry. When you're doing that, you're moving the sticks on a regular basis, and he got a late touchdown run to help put things away. So, Abram, when we're just a couple of miles away from Abram Street here in the city of Arlington, a little on the poetic side, but, you know, I have to give a lot of credit to Chevy Andrews as well. He made the most of the situation that he had.
Right.
And he was able to find his target, and it's not his fault that Brown dropped it out of his fingertips on that deep attempt. Exactly. So it was the right play call. It was the right throw. It was the right opportunities. And then when those opportunities weren't there, he was able to improvise and have really big runs to extend the drive and keep them in it. So Andrews would be the MVP for me for Seguin, and then Abram the MVP for Heritage.
Well, Zach, this is back-to-back games that you've been on the Antler Sports Network. Both of them have been pretty much instant classics. I guess we'll try to bring you back one more time. Why not?
I don't know if y'all want me back. Every time I've been on, Seguin hasn't been able to finish the job. But
well, I'll tell you what, from the Antler Sports Network to you, we will always welcome you back on, Zach. Any closing thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to the rest of the high school football season. Obviously, Seguin has a lot to play for, and then there's a lot of teams in Arlington ISD that have a lot to play for. 2 3-0 clubs in District 8, 6A will play right here tomorrow night at Wildman Field, and Zach Arnold Productions will have Arlington High versus Bowie on the call live on YouTube.
Where can we find you on social media, my friend?
Username at Zach the Voice, ZACH the Voice. We'll have all those links distributed first thing in the morning so that if you want to continue watching Arlington High School football, you can do that over on Zap.
Well, Zach, want to thank you, of course, for always being here with us today at Wildman Field. To our fantastic Antler Sports Network crew, our statistician back at our Tyler ASN studios in Noah Raditz, our fantastic camera operator, ironically, another Zach A., our executive producer as well, Zach Abercrombie, our second executive producer back at our Houston ASN studios, Justin Jackson. This is Jared Jones or Zach Arnold saying so long. Once again, our final score from Wildman, Colleyville Heritage 24, Seguin 14. Until tomorrow night from Tyler, good night, everybody.